ليريد ايرلاينز وعن دوليا شركة سالا وانقدايا موغداشو إلى دونتا ليريد بايك وديسا ليريد ايرلاينز وعن دوليا.
I bought Spirit Airlines. Now it is Lyrit Airlines. Quality Lear jets. Hi, this is 11 Hanoma, CEO of Lyrit Airlines. We are offering free bananas and rice for everyone. Come get a banana, big boy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next?
Me.
Welcome to the special line. Please have some food.
Mahazani, this is very kind.
We're glad to help. It's our tradition.
Everyone must eat before flying, Malala. A true Somali. Welcome to TSA. Banana? Banana. All right.
And some food. We are in control now. Do not resist.
Yes, sister. We are ready.
Good. Stay sharp. Fly with us for your next adventure.
Wow. Wouldn't that be? That was an adventure and a half, wasn't it? Wow. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a nice weekend, at least a nice Sunday off like I did. You know, I did take Sunday off. I did appear on another show or two, but I didn't do my own just because, I don't know. I just felt like, I got to take one night off, right? A week. I can't do 7 nights a week. That gets a little carried away. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank everybody who's here for another episode of Jim Tells You the News or something like that. But anyway, so thank you all for here. Please, if you're new here, please remember to hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, please think about subscribing because I do these shows 6 nights a week at least, maybe sometimes 7, depends. Depends. But other than that, we're going to get into a lot of news topics tonight. We've got a bunch of good stories to talk about tonight. All right. A bunch of good stories to talk about tonight. All right. We're going to talk about this SCOTUS ruling. All right. About the mail-in abortion. And Jim's going to say a mea culpa here that Jim was wrong when Jim predicted this wasn't going to happen on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday we talked about it. I think it was maybe Friday. When I said, oh, no, there's no way that Alito's going to do this. No way. Well, Jim was wrong. So we're going to get into it. And also the DOJ is suing Minnesota over their lawfare against energy companies. And Trump promises to guide ships out of the Strait of Hormuz that get into trouble. And as a result, it turns out that we sank like 6 or 7, maybe 8 ships, Iranian ships that were trying to attack civilian boats, and we scattered them out. We also have some other things to get into. We have there was 3 Indian citizens of India, injured in the UAE in an Iranian attack on an oil facility. And then Trump also says that he's likely gonna reject any Iranian peace proposal because, well, he doesn't think they've suffered enough. And also, if we have time, we'll get into Judge Jeanine Pirro. Well, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, I'm sorry, she's not a judge anymore, says that they have ballistic evidence to prove that the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, Cole Allen, did in fact shoot the Secret Service agent with the shotgun. And then we have a magistrate judge, who has a history of being a real piece of leftist hackery, who has in the past said some things about some other cases and let her politics show through, has come to the defense of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter to say that he's been treated badly, that he's been treated worse than an insurrectionist, if you could believe it. Worse than an insurrectionist. Wow. Amazing, right? Amazing to see it. Amazing to see it, right? But, so yeah, we're going to get into all that. And as we're starting here, we just want to remind everybody there is a goal. The way the goal works, it's the same every night. We go for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, somewhere about there. Unless we hit the goal of $100, that $100 is in total across all platforms, all ways of donating. We have PayPal, Cash App, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips, along with YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Locals Coins, gifted memberships, or becoming a member on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, or Twitch. We add that all up. When we hit 100, we add an extra hour. And then as an added and then for each additional 100 that comes in, we add another additional hour to the show. So the show could be 2 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours. You name it. It could be as long as you want it. And we also have an added bonus. When we hit $50, we activate Bellavision for the evening, which there she is. Oh, wait, she's not there. She moved again. Darn you, Bella. Darn you, Bella. How darn you, Bella, move. So there she is, just relaxing in her normal space. And that's when we hit 50. But as an added bonus, what I like to do, it's like a thing, is if one individual person was so generous enough to give $25 or greater, we would automatically activate Bellavision for the entire evening. Yeah, so that's how that works. So let's get into this first news story of the evening. Wow, that's weird. Hey, look at this. Robert Gruler has rated the stream on Rumble. Thank you so much, Robert Cavea. I don't know why it's still why StreamYard picks up the name. It's probably the name of the account. And maybe you had the account before you changed your name. But that's weird. That's weird why it does it. Let's see who's here tonight. We got Pat Hacker. What you doing, Miss Hacker? How you doing? Mr. Gagax, how you doing, Dan? Joe, what's up, Joe? And none of your business. Great to see you, Mr. Sneaky Sean. Neurodivergent One over there. We are live. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Delay is obvious. Great to see you. Snarf, awesome, buddy. Good to have you here. Catherine K, awesome to have you here. Jonathan Marcus, what's up? Awesome to see you. Boom, boom. What's up, buddy? Great to see you. Gary Goose, what's up? How did the mentally disturbed become judges? It's a very strange question. Hey, White Wolf, how are you doing? Awesome to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, yeah, Gary, great to see you. Philip Coggins, I'm here from Rob's stream. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rob is doing a member stream tonight, so the YouTube raid will probably be after that if it comes, but it doesn't matter. Either way, we're still here doing our show. Hey, what's up, VZQ? How you doing? Awesome to have you here. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's get into this first story. And like I said, Jim has to say, hey, I was wrong. Anne Marie, how you doing? What's up? Awesome having you here. I was wrong. Jim said there's no way Justice Samuel Alito, who, I'm pretty sure he wrote the opinion, the Dobbs decision, right? Didn't Alito write the Dobbs decision? I thought he did. That he would say that this is that this was good to go. But the Supreme Court restores access to abortion pill via mail. U.S. Supreme Court on Monday temporarily restored access to an abortion pill, mifepristone, via telehealth and mail. Yes, that's right. Federal magistrate judges are the worst because they would never be confirmed. Yeah, don't deny it. So Justice Samuel Alito on Monday temporarily halted an appellate order that blocked a FDA rule allowing the abortion pill mifepristone to be prescribed online and dispensed through the mail. Now, maybe he did this just so that the other justices could decide what they want to do. Like he said, well, we're going to stop this real quick. Let's see what everyone else wants to do. If they want to do anything about this, what they think, to see if there was enough people to vote on it. You want to hear his reasoning? I'm hoping it's in here. So Alito granted temporary relief to the maker of mifepristone, Danco Laboratories, and the manufacturer of a generic drug, Gen BioPro. His administrative stay will remain in place until 5 p.m. on May 11th. So he's given them like a week. The move gives the Supreme Court more time to consider the drug company's request to set aside the appellate court's order while litigation proceeds. So this might be just, this might be for them to discuss it. Maybe they're going to have like a hearing on it. They're going to talk about it. So Danco and Gen BioPro also asked the High Court to take up the case and decide the legal merits. Alito set a Thursday deadline for Louisiana officials to respond to the drug maker's emergency appeals. So maybe that's why he put the stay on it. He's going to see if the court wants to, how can this ruling stand up? You're talking about what? Alito's ruling? Well, I mean, it's the Supreme Court. Their ruling can stand up anywhere they want, but this might be hey, America Jane, great to see you. This could be because they asked them to take, this is an administrative stay. Yeah, so it's a short stay until the court's going to decide if they want to take it or not. And if they want it to be in effect, they're going to have to decide all this stuff. So it might just be because the federal, the reason being because the appeals court on Friday blocked the nationwide access to the abortion pill via prescription. So that's what's going on here. So maybe the Supreme Court's not going to take the case. Maybe there's not going to be 4 people to say to take the case, because that's what it would need. I think it needs 4. 4 of them need to say yes to take the case. So it would be obviously the 3 liberals would say, yes, we want to take the case. But will one of the people who voted for Dobbs, which gave the states the right to decide whether or not they can ship the stuff in to the states or nationwide, maybe those, I don't know. I didn't think Alito would do this, but then again, at the time, I did not know they asked for them to hear it on the merits. I just thought they wanted them to stay the ruling while the appeal was going on. I didn't know they asked the Supreme Court for an emergency appeal, which that's what's called a shadow docket, which the left hates. They were all complaining about it the other day. Whatever her name was, Ketanji Brown Jackson or Sotomayor or Kagan or all of them bitching about it in public, saying like, oh my God, the shadow docket, this thing, they just started the shadow docket, which it's been around forever. But now they're going to be happy about the shadow docket. Now they'd be like, oh, we want the shadow docket. We want this to happen because this is a case we want. So a 3-judge panel on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously ruled that the abortion pills must be distributed in person. Louisiana filed a lawsuit after the FDA allowed it to be distributed via telehealth and mail during the COVID pandemic. In 2023, the COVID change to how pills were distributed became permanent. The American Civil Liberties Union lashed out at Louisiana's anti-abortion politicians after the ruling came down from the appeals court. Hey, Siegel Gunner, great to see you. Lady Bama, awesome to have you here. Anti-abortion politicians have made it much harder for people everywhere in the country to get a medication that abortion and miscarriage patients have been safely using for more than 25 years. Well, there's a 10%, there's like a 10% complication rate with this drug. That's the problem. Louisiana's legal attack on mifepristone shamelessly packages lies and propaganda as an excuse to restrict abortion. Well, here's the thing. Louisiana has laws against abortion. And just because you're selling a drug and you're trying to skirt around their state laws, I think you might have a problem there. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, people. If they say, Big Brain Jim going to give you an idea here. If they say, no, you can't stop them from shipping in this drug, guess what else a state can't stop from being shipped in? Every other legal thing you can buy. Like, oh, I don't know, 3D printed, stuff like gun kits, like ammunition. They wouldn't be able to stop it anymore. You would just be able to order it from out of state and have it shipped into your house. Because if they can do this, a prescription drug with the state said you can't sell in our state, which is limited in the state, then any other law they pass is the same thing. You can't have specific special rules just for abortions that you don't have for other things, which are actual rights. California, New York, Illinois, and New Jersey have restrictions on ordering ammo into the state. That they put on the out of state, they will go after and try to punish the out of state gun dealers, which you would think that would mean that these out of state gun dealers, like that should be like a thing like, say, Louisiana and like Louisiana and Texas and other states that pass laws saying you can't send it into our state. You can't send these drugs in our state. And then the doctors do it. And then they go to New York or Illinois or California and say, hey, we want that doctor. They broke the law in our state. And they go, we won't extradite them to your state because we don't honor that law. Well, then them states should say, well, we're not going to honor your law about gun dealers having to get like special permission to ship stuff into your state. You can go fuck yourself. We're going to ship what we want in. And you can't touch our gun dealers. Have a nice day. Maybe that's what should happen. It would be interesting. Yeah, think Phoenix Ammunition. Yeah, stuff like that. Well, Phoenix Ammunition, I think, still has to follow. Like, they can't just ship it to anywhere in California. California has like laws where you have to send it to a licensed gun dealer, and then the people have to get background checks on the ammunition, which is unconstitutional. It's crazy. So let's see what happens. Maybe this might either. Yeah, this is one of them things where it's like this might be. Be careful what you wish for, left. You just might get it. Decision defies clear science and settled. No, it doesn't. The settled law and advances. No, it's not settled law. For countless people, especially those that live in rural areas, face intimate partner violence or live with disabilities, losing a telemedicine option will mean losing access to vital medication altogether. Well, here's the thing. Is that doctor conducting the telemedicine's licensed to practice in that state? No, they're not. No, they're not. Yes. All victories come with a cost. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, Philip. If the Supreme Court says that, yes, you can't do this via mail because these states outlawed it, that, but then again, they've already said abortion is not a right. So I don't know how that could have a negative effect on ammo sales across state lines. They might say, hey, you can't do this because these states restrict it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Don't sleep around. Yeah, well, that's always good advice. There's lots of stuff going around. Let's see a couple more places how they talk about it. Hey, Woodham, thanks for being a member for 1 month, man. That's awesome. Margie Smith, hey, awesome having you here. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Supreme Court restores access to abortion pill after appeals court ruling. I just want to see if there's anything else in here that we didn't get. Alito paused the order by the Fifth Circuit until May 11th. New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit ordered the FDA to require doctors to prescribe it in person. It's part of a 2-drug regimen given to women that terminate a pregnancy. It was just approved in 2021. What about hydrogen cyanide capsules? Well, I don't know. I mean, probably not a good idea to send those out. Biden administration lifted the requirement only for the Fifth Circuit to reinstate it. Yeah, the Biden administration said, nah, you don't need a doctor. You don't need no stinking doctor, but they didn't do any of the, they actually violated the thing called the Administrative Procedures Act because they didn't follow like the proper procedures to change the rules. Alito, who famously authored the Dobbs decision, so I was right about that, overturning Roe v. Wade, gave Louisiana to the close of business Thursday to respond to an emergency petition against the Fifth Circuit's order filed by 2 drug manufacturers. About 2/3 of abortions across the country are medication-induced, according to the pro-choice Guttmacher Institute. Wow, so that means if they're saying 2/3 are medication-induced, does they count the ones that people go into Planned Parenthood for? Because Planned Parenthood's still doing banger business out there, like big numbers. Big numbers. I mean, I don't think they even know. I don't even think they even know how many abortions are done by medication, considering that they sell like the morning after pill, I think it's called. Like, you don't even need a prescription. That's just over the counter. You just go in and buy it. Marley says, as a nurse, I would not take any drug unless under the direct medical supervision of a licensed medical professional. That's good advice. It's also used to treat Cushing syndrome and manage miscarriages by restricting the supply of hormones to the uterus that are needed to support a pregnancy. So the drug, so basically they're saying it manages a miscarriage. So it causes a miscarriage is what it causes. The drug is typically paired with misoprostol, which empties the uterus. Oh. Those treatments usually require a follow-up treatment. Yeah, well. I've heard a lot of stories from I've heard stories. I shouldn't say a lot. I've heard stories of people who are traumatized by that they took something, 6-7 weeks into a pregnancy, 8 weeks into a pregnancy, and then they had something that just looked like a teeny tiny baby in their toilet. And those people were traumatized because they were told, they were convinced by the abortion people that, it's just a clump of cells. That's all it is. It's not a baby. It's not a zygote anymore, is it? That's because it is a baby. That's right, it is. You're on misoprostol. What does it treat other stuff too? I mean, I'm sure some of the stuff has other, has other uses. I would think they probably. Sorry, hold up. I would think they probably developed it for something else, and then they just kind of, they've dehumanized them. Yeah, well, it's not like buying some Depends. Most drugs of this type need some local supervision. I agree. The Fifth Circuit has a history of making decisions that are further to the right of where the Supreme Court would go. Oh, really? Back in 2023, the appeals court blocked changes the FDA made in 2016 that made the access to mifepristone more easily accessible. It's for your ulcer. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Pam Graham says, hi, Jim and chat. You sure I'm messing with my sleep? I only slept 2 hours last night. Been up since 5. Just kidding. It's due to the medication. Well, Pam Graham, I hope you feel better. Please take care of yourself. We always love having you in the chat. How can a state not allow ammo sales where it's interstate commerce? You would think that, right? You would think that. That's actually should be challenged on a commerce clause argument. But the state just says, well, we regulate it. We don't allow it. Because, they putting states to put tax on things that are sold interstate like that is also not supposed to happen. But they do. that should be a way, actually, Dan, that they should challenge some of these laws like New York's, Illinois, and California's, because it does actually harm competition. But, the main thing is it's a violation of people's Second Amendment rights. Supreme Court unanimously rejected that challenge to expand access the following year, finding a group of anti-abortion doctors that brought the case lacked standing. Pro-life groups have criticized the Trump administration for not reversing the Biden-era FDA's loosening of requirements to get the abortion pill. That's right. American Jane is 100% right. You can hardly get bear spray sent to New York, and I hike near the Adirondacks. Adirondacks, man. It's been a long time since I said that word. I think there used to be a baseball bat company called Adirondack. It was an Adirondack baseball bat. Oh, Commie Tube should be headed over in a few. Rob is sending them. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. Let's see. Is there a news article here? I guess we'll see if someone else will say something about it. Never mind. They don't actually talk. Well, Fox News is getting real lazy. So appeals court blocks the mailing of the pills. The rulings nationwide. Supreme Court, in a order signed by Alito, temporarily allows women seeking abortion to obtain the pill without an in-person visit to a doctor. A temporary legal victory for pro-murder activists. I think if a state has the right, maybe from Cooperstown, maybe. What's next? AI doctors? Oh, I'm sure there'll be AI doctors. I'm sure there will be. Yes, we love Rob. We love Rob Nascarmo. I'm sure there will be, but I wonder how they're going to be regulated. Because someone's got to get a license. That's the thing. That's why I think it's a problem for this telehealth when it comes to getting the drugs, because if they're not licensed in the state they're prescribing the drugs, then they're not bound by the laws of the state. Different states can have different laws. That's just the way the way of the road, So I think they're going to need to something. I have a feeling. I just don't see how this. They might just say, like, the correct thing would probably be to say, well, the different states can set up their different laws, and if these companies violate, or pharmacies or anyone violate the state laws, or doctors, they could be charged with violating the laws of the state. That's probably what they're going to come down and say if they say you can still send it through the mail. Today, a Harvard study just found that AI can now out-diagnose physicians in the ER. We're already at that ceiling. Wow. That's interesting. How would you know the real doctor? Difference between a real doctor and an AI doctor? You wouldn't. Well, if you were in unless we're all, I would think if you go in person, you would know, right? When in person, like, unless it's like a hologram or something, then maybe you wouldn't know. All right. Let's talk about this. Project Freedom. Project Freedom is the new project that they're enacting to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Can you guys hear me okay? How's my volume? Everything good? Yes, going in person is the only way. Yeah. Docs are already using AI to take notes of the conversation. Yeah, they already do that. So countries from all over the world, almost all of which are not involved in the Middle East dispute going on so visibly and violently for all to see, have asked the United States if we could help free up their ships, which are locked up in the straits, on something which they have absolutely nothing to do with. They are merely neutral and innocent bystanders for the good of Iran, the Middle East, the United States. We have told these countries that we will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways. Yes. Good sound. All right, thank you. Project Red Rover. Yeah, Red Rover. Let some Earl come over. These are ships from areas of the world that are not in any way involved in what's currently taking place in the Middle East. And I've told my representatives to inform that we will use best efforts to get their ships and crews safely out of the strait in all cases. They said they will not be returning until the area becomes safe for navigation and everything else. This process, Project Freedom, will begin Monday morning. Thank you, Pat Hacker. Thank you, Pat. Yeah, I am fully aware that my representatives are having very positive discussions with the country of Iran, and that these discussions could lead to something very positive for all. The ship movement is merely meant to free up people, companies, and countries that have done absolutely nothing wrong. They are victims of circumstance. Did they buy the U.S. insurance? I bet they would. If we're escorting them, then they're kind of getting the insurance. This is a humanitarian gesture on the behalf of the United States, Middle East countries, but in particular the country of Iran. Many of these ships are running low on food and everything else necessary for large-scale crews to stay on board in a healthy and sanitary manner. I think it would go a long way in showing goodwill on behalf of all those who have been fighting so strenuously over the last number of months. If in any way the humanitarian process is interfered with, that interference will, unfortunately, have to be dealt with forcefully. Thank you for the attention to this matter. So this is what we call foreshadowing in the business. If in any way this humanitarian process is interfered with, that interference will, unfortunately, have to be dealt with forcefully. Well, yeah, sure is written to invoke guilt. Oh, you ain't betting. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. Where is this article from? No, it's just from Truth. All right. So, U.S. to help free up ships in the Strait of Hormuz starting Monday. Trump said to countries across the world he had asked the United States to help get the ships out of there, and, well, he's going to do it. The death cult does not care about the lives of non-combatants or anybody else. No, they don't. They do not. The Iranians do not care. Not one bit. Not going to stop them. They don't care. They're a bunch of jerks. Hi, I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm going to tell you about the strolling the straits. Trump said on Sunday that the ships the United States will help move are not in any way involved with the conflict. That's a humanitarian gesture. Trump did not reveal whether the U.S. Navy would be involved. Well, of course, the U.S. Well, if it's not the U.S. Navy, who would it be involved? The U.S. Army? The Army's going to go out on water and help the ships get through? It's part of a mission known as Project Freedom. Freedom! 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 That's awesome. Thank you, Muffin Rando. Well, the Coast Guard could, but the Coast Guard could get them through, but the Coast Guard doesn't really have the ships to fight, to be battling. Like the Coast Guards don't have the same weaponry that naval ships do. I mean, they do have a couple. Anyway, sure. There's more Navy ships there to Coast Guard. I don't know how many Coast Guard ships would be there. That's all I'm getting at. The command said 15,000 U.S. service members, guided missile destroyers, multi-domain unmanned platforms, and 100 land and sea-based aircraft will take part in the mission. You feel like a wizard. That's right. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Our support for this defensive mission is essential to regional security, and global economy, said Brad Cooper. Why did I see Fat Albert? Wow. The announcement was made hours after United Kingdom's maritime trade operation said a bulk carrier was attacked by multiple small craft as it transited towards the strait. Like, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. Hey, Mac, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you over there on Facebook, Mac. If you want to come over to YouTube and watch the show, you can chat in the chat, and I could respond to you and everything on real time. I don't have the chat doesn't pop up for some reason in my streaming software from Facebook, but I'm glad to see you watch it, buddy. Hope to see it soon sometime. All crew members were reported safe after the attack. There was no reported environmental damage or pollution. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for the global oil and gas shipments, had been disrupted by the Iranians in response to attacks on its leadership. And also the attacks on their nuclear sites and their military by the United States and Israel. But Iran retaliated with drone and missile attacks on Israel and U.S. military assets across the Gulf nations and laid sea mines in the strait. Iran is already lobbying munitions at UAE after this post. Yeah, I saw that. Yes, that's right. That's what I said. Hormuz. Yes, it's very loose moose. Traffic through the strait, a critical waterway for global oil and gas shipments, have been disrupted by Iran in response to the attacks of its leadership. Oh, look at that. We got a raid from Brenda Dices. Raid. What's up? Thanks to everybody who came over from Robert Gavea. Thank you all so much. That is a wonderful. Thank you all for coming over. I cannot thank you enough. It's always great to have. The more the merrier. The more people, the better. It's always great. Yes, hail us all. Hey, Mama Pillow, great to see you. Yes, Robert's the greatest. You got 8 hours of these shrooms? Well, I guess I would really, be careful with that. Muffin Rando, awesome to see you. Thanks for everything, Muffin Rando. You're awesome. The United States also imposed a naval blockade on Iranian ports, which took effect last month. The command has said that U.S. forces won't interfere with freedom of navigation for vessels traveling in the waterway so long as those ships are not visiting Iranian ports. And then Breitbart has a little bit more to say about it. Trump announces Project Freedom to escort ships out of Hormuz. Any interference will be dealt with forcefully. What are all those ships doing with their bilge? At some point, it's going to be pollution. Well, I think that was the point. That's why, Miss Hacker, that's why they said that they want to get them out of there because they're running short on food, their bilge, their bilge and everything. And what's this called? Yeah, the bilge. And it's like their gray water, whatever you want to call it. Also, your wastewater tanks are getting full. So you got, I don't know, them ships might not, I don't know if those ships have desalination units on them to make fresh water, if they only have a certain amount of tankerage of fresh water. So that could be a problem too. So yeah, you got to get them out of there. Otherwise, I don't know what kind of, there are some good harbors there, so they could probably ferry in and out of the harbor to try to pump stuff out and get fresh stuff, but I don't know about getting new food. Yes, please like and share and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check all on the notification thing in the chat. That's right. Hit the like and show Jim your appreciation. President Trump announced on Sunday the project called Operation Project Freedom. So for the good of Iran, the Middle East, the United States, we've told these countries that we will guide their ships safely out of this restricted waterways. He coupled that message with a clear warning: if in any way this humanitarian process is interfered with, that interference will unfortunately have to be dealt with forcefully. This is foreshadowing. Details of how the operation will be carried out remain limited. Forcefully. Later Sunday night, CENTCOM confirmed it began supporting Project Freedom on Monday, outlining a specific significant military posture behind the effort. U.S. military supports launch of Project Freedom. Freedom. Isn't that a Aretha Franklin song? Yeah, that's from God. I'm telling you, we're gonna sing, but I don't. Oh, that's Respect, right? Oh, that is the same song. Yeah. Our support for this defensive mission is essential to the regional security and the global economy. Hey, Texas and Oklahoma, how you doing? Great to see you. So yeah, 100 land and sea-based aircraft, guided missile destroyers, multi-domain unmanned platforms. That means unmanned submarines, unmanned surface vessels, unmanned drones, you name it. So Trump said he studied the new proposal and it's not acceptable. The campaign is progressing very well. That's from the Blues Brothers. That's what I thought. Well, no, the song "Freedom" was George Michael, but that song I was singing was from the Blues Brothers when they're in the thing got two white boys out here dressed like Hasidic diamond merchants. One of them wants 2 whole fried chickens and a Coke, and the other one wants dry white toast. Jake Elwood, the Blues Brothers, and then they sing the song. He shows freedom, freedom. Yeah. They're all dancing and stuff. So the proposal is a 14-point framework conveyed via Pakistanis, pack of Stanleys, and their intermediaries. It's been widely reported to demand sweeping concessions from Washington, including sanctions relief, withdrawing of all U.S. forces from the region. Well, that's the thing. Yes, Blues Brothers, great show. Yes, great show. Awesome. We ain't withdrawing our forces from the region. I'm sorry, that ain't happening. That's yes, in the diner. Yeah, in the diner. Yeah. In Matt Guitar Murphy's diner with his wife. He's got hitched. Oh, don't tell me what I'm going to do, woman. Iranian officials moved Sunday to dispute key elements of those reports and said that they insisted at this stage there are no nuclear negotiations underway, while rejecting claims that the plan includes provisions related to clearing mines in the strait. No, does live really show all? Some comments to those I still not see. Yes, no, like YouTube does not. YouTube will edit out some people's comments, but there might be some comments that I'm pulling up on the screen, like this one, which this is from Rumble. All right, and then if there's comments from Kick, they won't be in the YouTube chat. They just won't. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai stated that Iran's 14-point proposal is focused entirely on ending the war, according to Iranian state TV, stressing that Tehran's not engaged in nuclear negotiations at this stage. I mean, yeah, Carrie Fisher rocked a pre-86 M16 full auto in the Blues Brothers. Yes, she did. FARS news agency, the state-linked news agency of Iran, similarly pushed back on reports that Iran had agreed to a long-term halt to uranium enrichment. Well, it's going to be a long time. It's going to be forever, or it's going to be a time you agree to. If you don't agree to a set time, then it's going to be forever because you won't have anything left to do it with. Against the backdrop, President Trump launched Project Freedom. It introduces a new operational step, moving to extract neutral vessels and crews from the strategic choke point. At least we know we're not blocked. No, you're not blocked. I see you guys. No problem. The move effectively places the onus on Iran to allow the safe departure of non-involved shipping or escalation if it chooses to interfere. Foreshadowing, some more foreshadowing, some escalation if it chooses to interfere. Sometimes it slips by the browser refresh. I've seen it happen with my own chat when I use a TV and watch and sell to chat. Yeah, it'll happen. Hey, Genome Editor. What's up, buddy? Hey, Jim. About the abortion topic yesterday, I saw Russell from AR saying they can't work with pro-lifers because they're not pure abolish enough. He also said he doesn't like Trump. Rake walking epidemic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Trying to, you're never going to put that genie back in the bottle. I mean, there's been, I think abortion is murder. I don't think there should be any, but I don't, there's been abortifacient drugs been taken for like a long time, hundreds of years from my research. And, I don't know that it's going to happen. I really don't, that you're going to be able to say all, unless, I mean, technically, morally, it should be not allowed, because life does begin at conception. I mean, if they saw it, they look at they have like pictures of it when it happens, when the egg gets fertilized by the sperm, and it just this flash of light happens, and that's just life. So I don't know. I mean, what difference does it make if it's the first second of life or the ninth month of life? Isn't it the same? It's still life. I mean, is that do we judge other laws like that? Is it like if you rob someone or murder them or commit horrible, nasty things to people that are younger, is it less punishment or more punishment than when they're older? Think about it that way. I got okay. So we'll get to that foreshadowing in a minute here. But so on to the story number 2. The DOJ files a complaint against Minnesota over the climate lawsuit targeting energy companies. That's right. Minnesota has been engaged in lawfare like a bunch of other demon rat states where they're suing to stop production of energy. These people are insane. Oh, the House passes the SAVE Act. Well, good, but it's not, what's Senator Cassidy? If I'm not mistaken, this guy's part of the problem. I'm pretty sure this guy's part of.
When control of Congress changes, entire sectors, like energy, can move with it. On Interactive Brokers
Wow.
prediction markets, Republicans have about a 15% chance of keeping them.
Geez, would you stop doing that to me? Justice Department filed a complaint against Minnesota on Monday over the state's climate lawsuit. No, it's not a non sequitur. We actually talked about abortion was the first story today because the Supreme Court put a stay on that, an administrative stay, and they might take it up. So you hope Cassidy loses his election. Is he being primaried? The soy in that voice, yeah, it was horrible. What's up, Derek? How you doing? Great to see you. It says the case improperly attempts to regulate global greenhouse gas emissions and override federal authority. Of course it does. That's what they always try to do. They always try to get an end round around the federal government. Gary Gua says climate change is a hoax and wealth redistribution scam. And I know I said that wrong, but that was for a reason. President Trump promised to unleash American energy dominance, and Minnesota officials can't undermine his directive by mandating that their woke climate preferences become the uniform policy of our nation, says Assistant Attorney General Stanley Woodward in a statement. Anyone in Indiana, please vote Catherine Callahan, Indiana Senate District 25. It's pronounced Geets. That's how you pronounce your name, not Gary Goose, Gary Geets. Okay, well, you told me, now I know it. So it's, what's up, Gary Geets? Geets. Gigia. Stop chemtrailing and climate is fixed. All right, no problem. Just received your California primary ballot today, voting for the sheriff. Good to you. No problem, buddy. Sorry. Minnesota faces DOJ lawsuit over climate policy.
As an athlete, I think
Justice Department filed a complaint on Monday against Minnesota over its regulations. I wanted to see if they're going to. Why would you play while I got to be on it? You jerks. You're going to stop playing? I can't believe so I can stop playing. So I hate commercials. I really do. And I tried to go ahead and Newsmax sucks.
In the regular course of my job, saw that we were doing contracts that in some occasions violated the law in, I will say, a rather technical aspect, nothing huge at that time. And in other cases, we were doing contracts that were just risky. We had no guardrails up that would prevent, for instance, double dipping.
Okay, so you brought this to your supervisor's attention, and then what happened at that point? Did you become a target at that point?
Yes, it came on pretty steadily, where it started where maybe people would kind of ignore what I was saying, and then it pretty quickly moved up. Within a 6-month period, I went from being a great employee to an employee that was no longer allowed to really do anything. I was relegated to the most meaningless of tasks.
Okay, and Liz, what does that tell you?
No, I've been able to speak with Faye before as well. She's forgetting to mention that she was actually locked out of the building. She essentially couldn't even get into her workplace. Very courageous for her to come forward.
Okay, I don't understand what that was. That had nothing to do with what they said it was going to have anything to do with. I don't get Newsmax. You suck. Department alleges a complaint that Minnesota is trying to regulate greenhouse gas emissions by suing energy companies in state court. Trump declared a national energy emergency on his first day of his second term as president, issuing an executive order to unleash America's affordable and reliable energy and natural resources. Last week, U.S. agents searched more than 20 locations in Minnesota as investigations into fraud and social welfare programs continue. Yes. Gary Dietz says the only person to ever pronounce my name correctly was a German professor at the University of Montana. Well, just remember, there's no GNUs like Gary GNUs. If you remember that, me and you can go for a ride on a great space coaster. Whoa, time to go. Yep, whistleblower laws don't protect. Whistleblower protection doesn't protect whistleblowers in reality. No, it does not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To say, Anoka police letter scolds local social district scofflaws. What? And more headlines. Oh, wait. I'm going to want to watch that because that sounds interesting. U.S. Department of Justice on Monday sued Minnesota over what it calls its attempts to regulate global greenhouse gases. It is vented, whatever that means.
Vented. So for a few years now, the city of Anoka has had a social district.
Yeah, this is an area of downtown. People are allowed to walk around with an alcoholic drink. Our Barrett Leone is live in Anoka this morning with a new warning from police and city officials. Barrett, what's this all about?
Hey, good morning, AJ, Heather. A letter went out to local businesses about the social district, reminding them of the rules and talking about stricter enforcement, including jail time if those rules are broken. And it's got some business owners questioning if they still want to be involved in the social district. So here's how that social district works. People are allowed to take alcoholic beverages from participating businesses into much of the city's downtown area from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. Those drinks do have to be in special social district cups. However, 10K Brewing owner Jesse Hoff says a letter that he and other business owners recently got from the city is a little concerning. It details harsh consequences, including up to $1,000 fines and jail time for drinking in the district after hours. According to the letter, enforcement will be done by police in plainclothes officers, with businesses themselves being held accountable for repeat violations. Hoff says the letter felt a little too aggressive, which is why he says his business soon won't be taking part.
This town has changed so much over the last 10 years that I really want people to see that. I want it to continue to grow, and the social district is the key to doing that. But with an aggressive letter like that from our police chief and the city administration, it just can't.
And Anoka's mayor tells us that the letter is more of a reminder. It wasn't prompted by any major incident or event, rule breaking here in the social district. And he says that consequences like jail time most likely will not need to be issued.
Wow. Right, so in Minnesota, they don't lock you up for like shooting people and harming people or doing anything like that. They just let you go in Minnesota. You know, you do all stuff, they let you go. But if you go outside of a bar with a drink in your hand, they might lock you up. Oh, interesting. Interesting. No harm done to others. Drink away. Yeah. Social distance cups. Yeah. I don't get it, right?
Because they said it has been really successful
very popular,
over the past few years in the summer.
Very popular, yeah.
All right,
Barrett, it's been popular to let people walk around
to the live desk
drinking.
now. Maria Lisignoli is following the upcoming race for governor, including some new priorities from
governor of
Amy
Minnesota.
Klobuchar.
Yes, that's right.
Amy
Democratic
Klobuchar.
U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar laid out her priorities on Sunday for the first time since announcing her candidacy. Klobuchar discussed proposals to modernize outdated tech and streamline the permitting process.
Klobuchar is running for governor of Minnesota. Minnesota, if you elect this lady who eats salads with combs as your governor, I pity you. I pity you, Minnesota.
Process for builders. She also laid out her plan to combat fraud, saying she wants to strengthen criminal penalties, block payments to anyone convicted of fraud, and audit government agencies on.
Oh, what do you know? They all of a sudden now she's concerned about the fraud in Minnesota. Wow. I wonder if that means that they're going to actually do something to their attorney general, who took a bribe from people to stop the fraud investigation into stealing all that money of ours. Yeah. Klobuchar is going to continue burning your home. Yeah, probably. So in February, the EPA announced the repeal of its own 2009 endangerment finding, which led to implementation of regulations on hazardous emissions from vehicles, aircraft, power plants, and pollution from gas and oil extraction facilities, among other industries and sources. Amy is full of BS. A graveyard shifter, allegedly. I don't drink. I think Ohio beats Minnesota fraud. I probably. Attorney General Keith Ellison announced Minnesota was joining about 40 other states, counties, and municipalities in suing the federal government over the repeal. Trump administration continues to contradict settled science, settled law. Oh, these fucking people with what's settled. Guess what? It's nothing settled. You motherfuckers won't even let it be settled what a woman is. So how the hell are you going to tell us that climate change is settled? Science. Really? They said it was settled. Didn't they say also that the ice caps would all be melted by now? All the polar bears would be dead. Manhattan would be underwater. Miami would be underwater. You guys said that. You said that was going to happen like 25 years ago. Yeah, Al Gore said by the year 2000. By the year 2000. Yeah. That's nothing settled. I wish I had to chirp. I really do. Hey, what's up, Eclectic Deb? Great to see you. Yeah, science is never settled. That's right. Yeah, ozone hole, acid rain. Acid rain coming on your brain. Yeah, that's right. Gundam Zig says, I seem to recall when owning slaves was settled law. It was, until it wasn't. Andrew may share. I could ask him for it. I bet you he would send it to me. I'm sure I could find it. Yeah, it's settled because they said it's settled. Now comply or else. Yeah. Meanwhile, Obama bought beachfront property and a mansion. Yeah, well, you know. Meanwhile, scientists keep getting fired for faking data in my field, but I guess it's not politically convenient for that data to be settled. Greta Bad Haircut says we'd all be drowning by now. Yes, that's what she said. In early April, President Trump announced an executive order called Protecting American Energy from State Overreach, which bars state and local governments from trying to regulate energy beyond their constitutional or statutory authorities. Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be doing that. That's not good. The DOJ rails against what it calls Minnesota's woke climate preference. I mean, don't you think a lot of the people in Minnesota would like it to be just a little bit warmer? I mean, it's like the frozen tundra there 8 months out of the year or something. It's crazy. I know it's not 8 months. I'm just playing games with the people from Minnesota. Regarding its similar suit against Minnesota, the Justice Department explicitly zeroes in on what it describes as Ellison's participation in the lawsuit that usurps exclusive federal authorities and unreasonably burdens domestic energy development. Trump promised to unleash American energy, and Minnesota officials cannot undermine that. Ellison gave his statement regarding the lawsuit. In 2022, I sued the big oil for lying to Minnesotans about the true causes of climate change, then sticking us with the bill for the harms. What about all the good stuff? Even if you're right, which I don't think you are, but even if you were right about big oil being responsible, or oil being responsible for climate change, which I don't think you are, why wouldn't you get to offset with all the good stuff you got out of it? You know, like air conditioning, you know, having a car to go somewhere, you know, refrigeration, everything, all plastic, you know, everything that saved lives, you know, artificial heart valves and the Jarvik heart. Oh, well. To me, it seems like maybe, just maybe. Yeah, Mars is experiencing global warming too. Society collapses without oil. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't think they want society. They think it should be like Animal Farm, but not that new movie Animal Farm that came out that was like the opposite of what the book was. I'm talking about like the actual book. Yeah, photosynthesis changes CO2 into O2. Imagine that. Yes, imagine that. Yeah, oil for wind turbines. You got to have oil for wind turbines. American people deserve a Department of Justice that fights for us, and it's a tremendous shame the Trump DOJ would rather sell us out to big oil. Are these people stupid, or are they just dumb? In 2007, the Supreme Court ruled the EPA had the authority to regulate greenhouse gas emissions under the Clean Air Act, directly leading to the release of the endangerment finding 2 years later. This is just insane. The Clean Air Act was supposed to prevent like dirty air, smog, stuff like that. Not naturally occurring stuff that's not like a byproduct, things that are naturally created. Like every time we exhale, we create CO2. So to say that it's a pollutant, it's kind of crazy. We paint the surface of the earth black and then have to pretend to be surprised surface temperatures are slightly higher. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Plus all the concrete and stuff absorbs the heat, holds it in. Oh, wow. Look at this over on Twitch. They got the best viewers, it says. Best viewers is Mookie Tookie Lookie online. Trees eat the CO2 and make up oxygen. Yeah. I think it's just O. It makes up, they eat the carbon and make the O. I don't think it's O2. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's just O. I think oxygen is just O. Technically, we're still in an ice age. Yes, we're technically still coming out of an ice age. You know why? Because there's still glaciers. There's still ice on the Arctic. The winner of the dirtiest air is China, from what I've read. Yes, it's O2. Is oxygen O or O2? What's O? I thought CO2 was just one particle or one atom carbon, one atom oxygen. The FDA report released the final weeks of the Biden administration noted that since 2011, regulations have led to the creation of new passenger vehicles that emit 24% less harmful emissions. There's a CO2 cycle, and all carbon-based life forms participate in it. That's what I thought. Oh, we breathe dioxygen or O2. O2 is oxygen gas. O3 is oxone. I think you mean, is that oxone or ozone? One carbon, two oxygen? That's what I thought CO2 was. Lee Zeldin, who now runs the EPA under President Trump. Why did you call him Mr. Trump? It's President Trump, you scumbags at CBS News. Claimed in the first weeks of the president's second term, the repeal of the endangerment finding will undo underpinning of the $1 trillion in costly regulations and save more than $54 billion annually. Like, that's a lot of dim. Gina McCarthy, who led the EPA during the second Obama administration, said Zeldin and Trump administration are trying every trick in the book to deny and avoid the mission to protect people and the environment from the ravage of unchecked climate pollution. I don't believe you. Climate change experts, who are people who make all their money by running around saying there's climate change. Let's be clear. A climate change expert is somebody that's what they do. It's not somebody who just studies climate change. It's like, oh, I study climate. Well, these are people that make their money by promoting that climate change is happening and it's man-made. And yeah, they're low-key disrespecting the president every chance they get. Yeah. O is element oxygen. O2 is stable oxygen molecule that we breathe. Okay. Yeah, climate pollution now. Yeah, well, that's the thing. They keep twisting it and changing it. O is a free radical. Dr. Gretchen Goldman, who leads the Union of Concerned Scientists. Oh, so they got a union of concerned scientists. Went further in her disdain for the repeal, saying it's an obvious example of what happens when a corrupt administration and fossil fuel interests are allowed to run amok. Like, hey, what's your favorite noble gas? Argon? America First says, yes, climate change is occurring. It's been happening. It's been occurring since the earth began. It will continue with or without mankind. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Yes, the IPCC got caught funding the climate data to corrupt their studies. Yes. I think I mean fudging the data. Yes, fudging the data. I'm sorry. I don't know why I read that as funding. What is wrong with my eyes today? The second time I did that. Don't ask Swalwell that question. Okay. Oh, ask Swalwell about fudgings? How did these glaciers get here again? Oh, they've always been here. They're always supposed to be here, I guess. The back and forth lawsuits involving endangerment finding repeal are expected to drag on for some time, with legal experts doubtful over the Trump administration's success, since all similar challenges have met with failure in federal court. Yes, Dan is 100% right with this. If these environmentalists were serious about the cleanup of the environment, China and India would have to follow the same rules the U.S. does. But they don't, because they won't. Oh, no. Favorite noble gas, Swalwell. Oh, shit. I missed it. That went right over my head. Oh, I'm sorry. You drove on a glacier in a monster truck. I thought going to college was supposed to make people more intelligent. No, intelligence, I don't think is intelligence is not something I think you can learn. I thought intelligence is just like your natural ability to learn. Your ability to learn, I thought, was intelligence. There's a difference between being smart and being intelligent. I got to grab another drink 1 second. I missed the boat. Where's the boat? Were you guys going on a boat? So what you're saying is you could be dumb and be intelligent? No, what I'm saying is intelligence, I think, is like your ability to learn. You know, like that's what your IQ test is your ability to learn, your capacity to learn. But you could be really intelligent and just not know anything, just know like dumb stuff, not actually got smarts. You know, that's like people who say like you're street smart or you're book smart. Like if you're intelligent, you can be both street smart and book smart. In 2022, the court ruled in favor of limiting how the Clean Air Act can impose regulations on some power plant emissions. Good. Maxine Waters is low IQ. Definitely is. Definitely is. You know who else is? Hakeem Jeffries, very low IQ. Very low IQ. You know dumb stuff? There is an overabundance of educated, stupid people, but I think you are thinking of wisdom. No, like wisdom is different. You know, wisdom is somebody who knows a bunch of stuff and also can still like reason and figure things out. Because there's people who are like very book smart and just can recite you what the book exactly says and give you an answer based on the book, but they can't reason it. There's a difference between deductive reasoning. And that's the thing I'm saying. Like intelligence is like a number of things. Like being intelligent, you can, you know, is your ability to learn. But like wisdom would also include like being able to deductive reasoning, like recognizing patterns, being able to call them out. You know, it's like the difference between being a smart feller and a fart smeller. You can't believe Hakeem went to law school. Well, it was probably a DEI school where he just had to show up and they gave him a degree. Intelligence equals it is raining. Wisdom equals get out of the rain. Yeah, see? Wisdom, you learn more every day. School of hard knocks. Yeah. As for businesses, experts also doubt the repeal will lead to many policy reversals. Business operates on a far longer timescale than that of a 4-year cycle of a presidential election. Yeah, wisdom is knowledge incorporated into intuition. Yes, but there's a difference between intelligence and knowledge. Like you could be really intelligent but not have a lot of knowledge because you never bothered to learn anything. You just do things. You just like, oh, look at something. You know, oh, I can figure this out. I can figure this out. But yes, don't forget about Hank Johnson and his concern about Guam capsizing. Oh yeah, well, that is true. Boo-boo. He did say that. All right.
Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. The U.S. sinking 7 Iranian boats as Iran launches attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump threatened.
Yes, his name is Don Ma. U.S. military sank 7 Iranian boats in the Strait of Hormuz following the Iranian attacks. That's right. U.S. military sank 7 Iranian boats as Tehran launched attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump says the United States is threatening to strike Iran if it targets U.S. vessels. NTD has the latest on the Middle East. Yes, you can be intelligent and ignorant. Yes, you can. There's a lot of ignorant, intelligent people. And that's all the snooty, stuck-up people who go like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I do this. And those are people like, oh, really? Like people who assume like they meet somebody and they don't really know them. They haven't really talked to them. They just look at someone and go, oh, I'm smarter than that guy. That's what you call not smart because you have no idea what that person knows. This says U.S. sinks 6 small Iranian boats as Trump warns regime could be blown off the face of the earth. I mean, yeah, it could be. We're not going to do that, though. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. So U.S. forces sank 6 Iranian boats. U.S. sank 6 Iranian boats. Judges declaring CO2 a pollutant is a perfect example of intelligent but ignorant judges. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Is this just oh, let's see. What is this?
تنگه هرمز به شرایط قبل از جنگ تحمیلی سوم بد نخواهد گشت گفت درآمدهای حاصل از عبور
قانونی که برای تنگه هرمز بنا به فرمایش رهبر معظم انقلاب تصویب خواهد شد این فقط برای داخل کشور جمهوری اسلامی ایران نیست بلکه ما حقوق بین الملل را حقوقی که همسایگان داریم را باید در نظر بگیریم اما آنچه که مسلم است ما از تنگه هرمز نخواهیم گذشت و تنگه هرمز به وضعیت قبل از جنگ بر نخواهد گشت و مردم بزرگوار استان هرمزگان نیروهای مسلح مستقر کار بزرگی را انجام دادن دشمن مستعصل شد تنگه‌ای که
I just keep hearing Durka, Mohammed Jihad.
غلط رو نتوانست بکنه آمده الان موضوع محاصره را مطرح کرده یقین بدانید این هم با شکست مواجه خواهد شد قانونی که مسبب خواهد شد اولا کشتی هایی که مربوط به رژیم صهیونیستی باشه به هیچ وجه حق عبور از تنگه هرمز را نداره کشورهای متقاضم در رأس آن ایالات متحده آمریکا هم حق عبور نخواهند بقیه کشتی‌ها که بخوان عبور بکنن با اون قانونی که ما وضع میکنیم و اجازه‌ای که از فرمانده معظم کل‌وقوا گرفته میشه و در اختیار نیروهای مسلح ما قرار میده این تردد خواهد بود و ما برای اینکه سرویسی خدماتی ایمنی حفظ محیط زیست و راهنمایی غیره کشتی‌ها را انجام میدیم این رایج دنیاست عوارض را از اونها دریافت میکنیم و در قضیه تقویت بنیه دفاعی همچنین برای معیشت مردم و تکمیل و همچنین
So these people think this is it, here. They're not going to learn. We got to learn. They haven't got learned enough. They got to get learned some more. They got to be learned scholars with at the school of FAFO. They're still out here talking about they're going to charge fees to get through this. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. The only thing they're going to do is be going to see Allah. Mm-hmm. Most learn the letters, then the words, put the words together and understand the concept of thought. Learnt. That's right. They're going to get learnt. Losers trying to justify terrorism. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. I can't believe that the fucking New York Post had that in there with just like this guy just spouting his shit. So, U.S. forces on Monday sank 6 small Iranian boats deployed to harass vessels stuck in the Strait of Hormuz shortly before President Trump warned that the Islamic Republic would be blown off the face of the earth if it interferes with efforts to reopen the crucial waterway. Yeah, they have not been inconvenienced enough. Oh, I don't think so. I think they're going to have to get some more. Oh, I don't think we get it. The religion teaches them that it's good to die fighting the infidels. Well, if that's what they want, let's give them what they want. You know what? Maybe, just me, just thinking, maybe, if this new Pope wants to get involved in politics and talk all that smack and all this shit, maybe he should call for, maybe he should think about what old Pope Clement did. Just saying. Just saying. You're feeling benevolent as well. That's what I'm saying. I'll be benevolent. If this is what you want, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. You think Allah is with them? Oh, okay. Well, Admiral Bradley Cooper. Oh my God, Bradley Cooper. So he went from being the sniper in an American Sniper to being an admiral now. No, it's Brad Cooper. Head of the U.S. Central Command told reporters in a press call that while Iran historically has deployed between 20 to 40 small boats to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait, today we saw just 6 and eliminated them quickly. Quickly. Yes. Behind every blade of grass. That's right. That's what the Japanese said. That's why they said, we can never invade the United States. There's a gun behind every blade of grass. It's actually probably more than that, people. If that black cube was vaporized, it might be that Allah wasn't with them all. Just saying. Why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks. Yeah, right? And the Hangover. Yeah, well, I'm just saying because like in Lone Survivor, not Lone Survivor, man, American Sniper, he was actually played a SEAL sniper. Chris Kyle. Great movie, by the way. I liked it. FAFO and Trump will send them to meet Allah. That's what I'm saying. Maybe, maybe not. Today we saw them in Italy. We have an enormous amount of capability and firepower concentrated in and around the Strait, including AH-64 Apache, MH-60 Seahawk helicopters, emphasizing that Iran's military capability has been dramatically degraded. I want Iran's military capability to be rocks and sticks. Rocks and sticks. Just rocks and sticks. I mean, they can still do their thing with they like to stone people and shit like that, so let them do that. But that's all they got. They should be restricted to just arm power on the rocks. Don't even let them get a sling. Oh, there's a AH-64 helicopter shooting what I believe that is a Hellfire missile. There's the Strait of Hormuz. Monday strikes occurred after Trump's announcement of Project Freedom. Yes, enough threats and negotiations. Turn the lights off. That's what I'm saying. Turn the lights off already. Facts. U.S. initiative to move maritime traffic through the Strait since it has been backed up for months from the start of Operation Epic Fury. Every time I read this, I see it go, don't say Fury, don't say Furry, don't say Furry. And I screw it up. Oh, famed nudist resort is now overrun with crazy nudist, sexist people having sex everywhere. That was a crazy story. Iran has warned it will resist any effort to force open the strait and insisted that any ships attempting to move through the waterway must coordinate with Tehran first. That's right, Lurch Slinger. Tell them, tap that like button. Just tap it in. Tap-a-roo. Yeah, well, epic furry. Yeah, I keep screwing up. Since Obama, politicians have been walking on eggshells with Islam. I'm so sick of it. Well, yeah, thinking about my weekend. Yeah, wow. It wasn't since Obama. When George W. Bush, basically got all Bella just laid into her water bottle, like a water bowl, knocked it over almost. What are you doing? After 9/11, when George Bush said that we were, in a battle of evil, when we were on a crusade against evil, and then everyone wigged out and started screaming and yelling about, oh my God, it's not a crusade. You can't say it's a crusade. You can't say it's a crusade because it's not against all of them. It's not all Islam. It's not all Islam. It's like nobody said it was all Islam. But if you motherfuckers think that anytime someone says crusade, that just means that they're trying to kill all Islam, that's a you problem, not a me problem. But since you brought up crusade, might be time for another one. Operation Inflatables, yeah. You could say furry, but Operation Furry is an Antifa thing. Yeah, I know. That's what Antifa does. So Trump told Fox News that Iran would be blown off the face of the earth if it attacks U.S. flagged vessels. We have more weapons and ammunition. We have more weapons and ammunition at a much higher grade than we had before, Trump told Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst. We have been the best equipment. We have stuff all over the world. We have these bases all over the world. They're all stocked up with equipment. We can use all that stuff, and we will if we need to. The president claimed that Iran has become much more malleable regarding peace talks that have stagnated since mid-April. I mean, hey, Brian Ogden, thanks for being here, buddy. Michael Bolton. Yeah, he sings a lot of songs. Cooper did not say whether American strikes on Iran's fast attack boats and Tehran's claims that it fired at U.S. warships constitute a collapse of the fragile ceasefire secured last month. Joe has some insight. He says, it is all of Islam. That's the mistake we make when we deny it ourselves. Dumb. I mean, Islam is a religion of conquest, of conquering, subjugation. I mean, and if you don't recognize that and say it, that you can't be subjugated or conquered by them, you have to stop and fight against it. I don't know if Christendom, if we have no true knights of Christendom that will stand against it, then what is Christendom? The original name of the Afghan operation was called Infinite Justice until someone was told that it was offensive to the religion of peace. Change it to Enduring Freedom. Yeah, that's the thing. They just keep doing that, changing it because it upsets people. I mean, that they should have called. I mean, I would imagine if they would have called the Afghan operation Operation Final Solution. Would people have been mad about that? Because they're like, we're finally going to have a solution to this terrorism problem. Yes, let's call this one Final Solution. It's like, I don't think you could say that. Yeah, they don't want peace with us, and they never will give up because the religion teaches them that they will be rewarded for not doing so. So does that mean we should give up America first? Does that mean we should give up? Should we surrender? Should we say, okay, we don't want these problems. We don't want the smoke. So we'll just pretend it ain't happening? I don't know. And if you look at these boats, there looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys on that boat. So the Pope has no clue that the Muslim mediation room in the Vatican is considered by some to mean the Vatican is now a mosque. Yeah. Pope's an idiot. Operation Copper Vengeance. Yes. We won't stop. That's right. Iran makes nothing of value to the world except oil. Face facts. I face it. I think the key thing for us is if we're merely there as a defensive force and to give it a quick, very thick layer of defense to commercial shipping to allow them to proceed. There are hundreds of ships from about 87 countries stuck in the Persian Gulf, with CENTCOM reaching out to neutral ships to help them with safe passage. At least 2 ships across the strait on Monday, according to CENTCOM. I mean, those look like, honestly, those boats look like ski boats, like skiffs that you would use to for fishing and stuff like that. They don't look like military boats. I mean, I guess that rack you could say is something, but I mean, that just looks like something you would hang, have 3 or 4 tow lines on for towing stuff or for pulling a skier. I heard something about smelly pirates at Hormuz. Wondered if they were from Minnesota. A pirate ship. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Looks like a deep bass boat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they got them from Bass Pro Shops. Remains to be seen how many foreign ships take up CENTCOM's offer to move through the strait after a South Korean-used carrier reported an explosion and fire on board when attempted to cross the waterway. The HMM Namu suffered a blast early Monday with fire breaking out in the engine room of the Panama flag cargo ship, South Korea's foreign ministry said. Trump said the attack on the Namu should push Seoul, which has 26 ships tracked in the Gulf, to join the U.S. in military operations to secure the straits. Perhaps it's time for South Korea to come and join the mission. Maybe it's time. Boom Boom has a good point. Iran does export pistachio nuts, but they keep the religious nuts all in-house. other than the Korean ship, there has been at this moment no damage going through the strait, he wrote. Mm-hmm. Yes. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. We all came out to Montrose on the Lake Geneva shoreline to hear the record at the mall bound. We're gonna get it rain. Frank Zappa and the Mothers, they had a sailing to rhyme. Some stupid with a flare gun, he burned the place to the ground. Smoke on the water. Machine Head album. Trump needs to stop announcing all the details of everything. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Be like Zoolander. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Along with the South Korean ship, an UAE oil tanker was targeted by Iranian drones as it tried to cross the strait and caught fire. Fire! I had an economics teacher in college that was from Iran. First thing he did was make sure everyone knew he was not like the religious nuts from there. But maybe he was practicing, did you ever think, Sneaky Sean, that he was practicing taquilla? And not those taquitos, which are those awesome little round taco things that they sell at like the taco trucks and at the other places. They're filled with like a delicious meat, deep fat fried. That's very, very good stuff. Not like those, not taquitos. I'm saying taquilla. It's the practice of in Islamic religion that teaches to lie to infidels, to trick them. Oh, he was a Christian. Oh, okay. Are you sure? Maybe he was practicing taquilla. Hey, Suzelian, great to see you. This says U.S. shoots down 7 Iranian boats. Shoot them down from where? Were they flying? Were they flying boats? Shouldn't you say sank 7 boats, destroyed 7 boats, not shoots down? I mean, they did go down in the water. Wow, I can't believe how tired I am. As Iranian boats get blast a South Korean vessel. Shot down a Davy Jones locker. What news source? This is GB News from Great Britain. Great Britain News. U.S. has shot down 7 Iranian boats. They were flying in formation. We shot them down. They were like shooting. It's like the old Marianas turkey shoot. The operation comes just hours after Iran launched a series of assaults across the region, causing the United Arab Emirates to shoot down missiles over its waters. Okay. So if Iran is still attacking, it's dangerous. To me, that says they ain't had enough yet. They haven't cried uncle yet. Donald Trump confirmed that American helicopters had taken down several small boats. Taken down? Well, maybe. U.S. military chiefs have said that all threats across the maritime passage have been countered. So they countered the assaults. UAE is pissed. Oh, yeah, they're pissed. That's why they said they're leaving OPEC. Iran's military claimed it fired warning shots on an American vessel in the Strait. Entirely false claim, which the U.S. denied. Did you really? You fired at our ships? You really did. You didn't tell us, oh, it was an accident? However, a fire and subsequent explosion on a vessel controlled by the South Korean shipping company HMM was recorded, Seoul's foreign ministry said. Taking it to social to wage another war of words against the Islamic Republic, the U.S. president confirmed the military action. Basically, I'm tired of this shit. We don't need a blow-by-blow by POTUS. Just do what must be done and call it a day. Yep, exactly. 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 Smash the like and hype, folks. Good night. Iran has taken some shots at unrelated nations with respect to ship movement, Project Freedom, including a South Korean cargo ship. The commander-in-chief added, perhaps it's time for South Korea to come and join the mission. We saw that. So, other than the South Korea ship, there hasn't been any at the direct moment. No damage. 47th President added the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and Chairman of Joint Chiefs, Stan Kane, will convene a news conference to deliver updates on the war on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning comes after Monday morning. We have initially confirmed that there will be no casualties among our nationals as of a first check. Arab Emirates said that it had intercepted a number of Iranian rockets fired at them as well. As a result, several flights headed towards the UAE were diverted to Oman's capital, Muscat. Other aircraft hovered over Saudi Arabia while further attacks from Tehran fueled widespread travel chaos across the region. Earlier today, the UAE said its Air Force was fending off missile and drone attacks after a major oil port erupted into flames due to a drone attack. Farajajar is the nation's largest port and oil storage facility. Earlier this month, the Farajajar government media office said the civil defense teams were working to control the blaze. The UAE's defense ministry later confirmed it had intercepted 12 ballistic missiles, 3 cruise missiles, 4 drones, and a partridge in a pear tree. The official said that the Ministry of Defense affirmed that it remains fully prepared to and ready to deal with any threats and will firmly confront anything aims to undermine security of the country in a manner that ensures the protection of its sovereignty, nation security and stability, and safeguards in its interests and national capabilities. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Islamic Republic claimed it did not have any intention to target the Emirates. Oh, so it was an accident to target the Emirates? Is that what they're trying to say? It was an accident. It was an oopsie. It was an oopsie. So today isn't the first time that DC Magistrate Judge Zia Farquhar, I've known this name because I remember I think I made a Jamiroquai joke the last time I saw this name. Feels good. Today isn't the first time DC Magistrate Judge Zia Farquhar apologized to someone arrested for threatening the president and berating DOJ for handling the perp. Last year, Farquhar apologized to Edward Dana, a career criminal who said he wanted to kill the president during an arrest for other offenses. Some of the high and low lights here. It's hard to know where to start or end in covering the batshit meltdown last week by DC Magistrate Judge Zia Farquhar. Made the full transcript available to my paid subscribers on Substack. Farquhar was presiding over a hearing in a case of Edward Dana, a career criminal with 9 prior convictions and 23 arrests, who was on probation and arrested by DC police for vandalizing property in a drunken rage. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I don't think you're supposed to do that at all. I have a feeling if you're not even supposed to be drinking when you're on parole. Probably. Maybe. During his arrest, Dana said he wanted to kill the president, among other things. DC U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro sought to indict Dana on a federal felony of making threats to the president. But once again, in a rarity now commonplace in D.C., a grand jury made up of D.C. voters, 93% for Kamala in 2024, refused to indict him. So prosecutors had to drop the charges. What? This enraged Farquhar, who not only misrepresented Dana's case, making him a victim rather than a longtime perp he is, and he berated the prosecutor for about 20 minutes or so. 20 minutes or so berating the prosecutor. Wow. Oh, my back's oh. 27, you're light? Are you talking about Doc 27? But Farquhar's tirade had less to do with Dana and more to do with President Trump. Time and again, Farquhar, who was appointed in 2020, but not confirmed by the Senate, blasted the president's policies related to using federal law enforcement agencies and DC National Guard, and warnings to do the same in other cities. What? And warnings to do the same in other cities to combat crime. How do we reestablish faith in people that they're not going to be wrongly arrested? Were any of these people wrongly arrested? No. When the hobby or whatever, the interest of the moment, if we move to Chicago or whatever city, Baltimore or whatever next thing is to the city, wow. I am like falling asleep here. That's why today's people have to suffer. That's crazy. Crazy. The judge apologizes to the guy who tried to kill Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Judge apologized to him because he's been in solitary confinement under suicide watch for a couple days now. Where this judge should be removed immediately. I would think magistrates could be just fired. They're not approved by the Senate. They should just be fired. A D.C. federal judge apologized on Monday to the man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump. What did she say? Did she say she was sorry he didn't succeed or something like that? Because I could see that coming out of one of these wacky leftist judges' mouths. I'm so sorry you didn't succeed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry you didn't succeed. I'm so sorry you didn't succeed. U.S. Magistrate Judge Zia M. Farquhar told alleged wannabe killer Cole Allen he was very sorry that the suspect has been held under suicide watch despite a mental health exam finding he did not pose a threat to harm to others. Oh, this is the judge? So it's a man. Oh, so he's just... Come on, really? Really? Bow tie and all? Farquhar said it was the court's job to make sure Allen was jailed responsibly and fairly, and that the accused killer was being treated differently than anyone else I've ever charged. I think that's not true. The J6ers were punished harshly. Some of them were in solitary confinement for over a year. The move prompted furious U.S. Attorney Deneen Pirro to tweet, "Welcome to Washington, D.C., where U.S. Magistrate Farquhar believes a defendant armed to the teeth to attempt to assassinate the president is entitled to preferential treatment in his confinement compared with every other defendant." Prosecutor Jocelyn Ballantyne had argued the FBI's recommended the measure because Allen told agents after his apprehension that he did not expect to survive the attempted assassination attempt. Oh, well. Texas and Oklahoma says he was going for the Bill Nye, not a science guy look. Well, yeah. Those pretzels are making me thirsty. Allen's lawyer, Eugene Yin Young Kim Ohm. What? Eugene Yin Young Kim Ohm also informed the judge that Allen had been held in a padded cell and was on what amounted to a 25-hour lockdown. Ohm said Allen wasn't allowed to make a phone call to him, was barred from having any court records, and his cell wasn't even allowed to have a Bible. What? I don't believe that. It just doesn't add up, said Farquhar. Well, it doesn't add up when you believe people who are going to lie. He should not be in solitary confinement. He ordered the feds to update him by Tuesday where Allen was held going forward, and he needs justification for any decisions to tighten restrictions on him in the jail. Judge is probably Nation of Islam. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I said about the bow tie. This is not the jail's first go-around with people engaged in political violence, the jurist said. Oh, yeah, like the people referring to dozens of Trump supporters that were there in the aftermath of January 6th, which this judge ordered all them people to be held in confinement. Allen's lawyers had requested Monday's hearing but asked for a cancellation Sunday, noting their client had been finally removed from suicide watch. Judge Farquhar declined to scrap the hearing, citing grave concerns about Allen's treatment. Allen's lawyers had claimed her client was escorted to a shower, strip search, and then searched any time he came into or left his cell. They do that in a lot of places. Anytime you leave somewhere, you get searched. Huh? You figured the Seinfeld people would get that one? Yeah. Allen's lawyers also claimed the client was escorted to the shower, strip search anytime he came into stuff to sell, and made to wear a padded vest. These conditions are excessive, restricted, and liberties that serve no justifiable purpose. Oh, really? If you got any 9-volts around, go and lick them to wake up. No, I'll pass on that. I will pass on that. I was up really late last night. I couldn't sleep. I was up to like 9 a.m. And then I fell asleep at like 9 a.m. And then I woke up by like 11 a.m. So I got like 2 hours of sleep. That's what I'm on, 2 hours of sleep. So I'm going to crash out early tonight. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, here we go. Finally something to watch.
Cole Allen appearing in court. The hearing has just wrapped, we are told, and at one point the judge apologized to Cole Allen. Chief Washington correspondent Mike
Judge fucking apologized to the guy who tried to kill Trump. Can you believe that?
Answer why that possibly was. Mike?
Yes, Andrew, good afternoon to you. Judge Zia Farquhar apologized to suspect Cole Allen for the treatment he's received so far while he's been behind bars. He's been put on suicide watch by the Department of Corrections, and the judge was asking why. An attorney for the government said that he was put on suicide watch because he told FBI agents the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack that he didn't expect to survive. And his language suggested that he really was not expecting to survive his trip to Washington, D.C., and the ultimate incident where he allegedly showed up with a weapon to try and assassinate President Trump. He's been charged with that crime, but the judge very concerned about his constitutional rights, saying the defendant has requested a Bible, has requested meetings with his legal team, and that has not been allowed. He's been put in restrictive 24-hour lockup with no windows in a padded room without an opportunity to get out for recreation. And so the judge making it clear to the Department of Corrections that he wants answers by tomorrow morning about exactly what the housing determination will be made for the suspect in this case, out of grave concern about his constitutional rights, and that apology issued near the end of the hearing. And so quite a moment just moments ago in federal court. Bottom line, the Department of Corrections said they wanted to make sure that he survived, that this is a high-profile case, and all involved acknowledged it is a high-profile case. But again, the judge concerned about the treatment he's gotten since he was arrested after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting incident. Sandra, back to you.
A lot of people might be shocked by that.
The judge apologized to this guy who's a killer, who, if he had gotten another couple yards, would have sprayed the whole audience in the Correspondents' Dinner. I mean, would have just sprayed him and killed God knows how many, and then would have marched up and taken a shot over the whole audience at the president. And we're apologizing to this guy? I don't get that.
Seems more concerned.
Yeah, the judge mentioned the J6ers and said that, you know, these insurrectionists who tried to overthrow our government were treated better. What? This judge has got to go. Sorry, judge got to go. Judge got to go. I mean, get removed from the bench, like legally. I'm not talking about any type of violence. I'm saying like the judge just got to go, judge. You're not a magistrate judge anymore. Have a nice day. You're fired. Yeah, the fact that they brought it up shows a bias. Yeah. Come on, Jim. Are you going to tell us you never apologize to those who harm you? If only Republicans had the majority, they could get rid of those judges. Oh, wait. Yeah. Fire the fake judge. Yeah. Activist. Yeah.
Concerned about his constitutional rights in some cases.
Constitutional rights? Well, all right. Let's bring in constitutional law attorney, my pal, Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, so would you speak to this, please? I mean, I guess prisoners have constitutional rights. The guy's a killer, and God knows what would have happened if we hadn't taken him down. So I don't really think I'm that worried about his housing situation, but you tell me if I'm wrong.
Hey, Hank, great to see you.
Well, you know, the Department of Justice is in between a rock and a hard place on an issue like this. You know, if you do have a suicide, you have a sort of a lingering Epstein conspiracy theories that go on and on and on. You know, did he really commit suicide? You have someone here who said, I actually expected to die. And so the response from the DOJ is to make sure he didn't die in their custody. Now, that status appears to be lifting. It's not entirely clear. But the most important aspect of this is the denial of access to counsel. He does have a constitutional right for that. He also has a right to have access to a Bible. But the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons are both given a great deal of deference in the housing of inmates, particularly ones where they have concern for their safety, including potential suicide. It's not very common you hear a judge apologize, but this is the type of thing that gets worked out through the court, and I expect that's what's going to happen here. He's going to get access to his lawyers. He'll get access to a Bible, but the Department of Justice.
Oh, Node. When is the show starting these days? I've been starting earlier. I've been starting at like 7 o'clock, Node, because Robert Gavea has generously and graciously offered to raid me when he gets done with his show. And so it's been helping me grow my channel. And so as long as, you know, that happens, I'll start at 7, you know, and then it actually works out better then, because then I'm not ever like anyone else. The other guys that I like to work with times, like Joe streams maybe at like 10-ish. So then I'm not overlapping with Joe. Unless I run long, like if I get people pay for a bunch of extra hours, then obviously I'm going to overlap with Joe. But normally I don't overlap with Joe then. But yeah, usually, hey, lucky number 7, great to see you. Usually 7 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern. The shows will mainly during the week grow my channel. That's a funny little phrase. Well, yeah, get more people watching, more eyes on it. You know, I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. Grow the number of subscribers. You know, generally it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Unless it might be at 8 if Robert Cavea starts late. If he starts at 6 instead of 5, then I might start at 8. You know what I mean? Then I might start at 8 if he starts at 6, but generally I just follow him. You know, but I start before he ends. That way I'm going when he. It's that word channel. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know my. It's not really a channel, is it? What the fuck is it called? It's not a channel. It's not a YouTube channel. What is it? What is it? A YouTube page? YouTube stream? I don't know, man. YouTube stream? I guess. Okay. American Jane's from Bronca and Robert. Well, they're two great guys, man. I'm trying to be just 1/10 of the streamer that they are. Oh, damn. Well, good for you, man. I'll probably miss most of it with your night shift work, but I'm glad it's working out for you. Yeah, well, you can always watch it on the replay node. You can always watch it on the replay. And, Saturday nights is usually later. I usually go later on Saturday nights. Same thing if I do go Sunday nights, it's usually later on Saturday and Sunday. But during the week, it's generally going to be there. I do Thursday, though. Thursday nights will be later because those will be with Joe Neerman. I stream with him, so it's going to be like 10:30 on Thursday nights. So, and that'll be like a stream with me and Joe. YouTube calls it a channel. That's what I thought. You have class at 2100. So we'll be leaving soon. Okay. Algorithm, maybe. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yeah, and then for anyone who was wondering about the Theory Thursday thing, we did Theory Thursday 2 weeks in a row. Yes, Govia is a class act. Your numbers are trending up. Yep, it's great. I appreciate it. You've been catching the end and been here the last week or so, so I'm busy with work, but can't shame. That's fine, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Nick Shirley just released a video. He's being held in Cuba. What? Why the fuck would he go to Cuba? Is he nuts? I have a channel. Everyone in the chat has a channel. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, everyone has a channel. YouTube calls it a channel. What are you trying to do? Make me freak out here and I'm losing my mind? In YouTube chat. That's right. Everybody in YouTube chat has a channel. I gotta have to pull that up in a second. Let's finish watching this though. I know we're coming up on 2 hours and the goal's gonna expire, and we haven't had a single donation tonight, which is the first time that's happened in like a long time. That's wild. We're gonna pull it up.
Itself is going to retain a great deal of discretion on how he is housed.
Well, clearly, there were signs that his intent was to harm a lot of people in that room, in that ballroom there in Washington. There's obviously also a question in that courtroom whether or not the President of the United States was his intended target. Janine Pirro seems to say that there is clear evidence pointing to that. Listen.
We have a lot of evidence that indicates his intent and the fact that everything that he did thereafter, whether it was, following what the president was doing, where he was going to the day of the event at the hotel, tracking on his phone. Is the president in the ballroom yet? Has the president sat down yet? What time will dinner be served? This is clearly the president is a target.
Is it that clear to you, Jonathan?
It is clear to me. This is going to be a one-man show. Cole is going to be both the defendant and the witnesses against him. I mean, it is his own words that state that he wanted to take out people from top to bottom. It's his own words reportedly to the Secret Service agents. So he didn't leave much of a defense here. In fact, I got to tell you, I've been a criminal defense attorney all my career, and I can't really think of a viable defense at this point based on this evidence. They supposedly took a pellet out of the vest of that Secret Service agent. well, then the night is over on that charge. I mean, if that pellet came from the shotgun and he fired it, that is an attempt on the life of a federal officer. His manifesto gives you, in his own words, his intent to kill people in that room, including the President of the United States. It leaves you as a criminal defense attorney with an incapacity or insanity defense, which will not work in this case.
Yeah, it's not going to. Insanity defense isn't going to work in this case. Not at all. Look at this. We got our first donation of the evening from Joe. Thank you so much, Joe, for $2. Come on, people. It's not Jim's bedtime yet. Let's rally. Let's go. Oh, we didn't even get no Bella, no nothing. Number 3 looks like a bayonet. Kind of did look like a bayonet. So with that, that means, folks, we are now $98 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $48 away from Bellavision. Thank you. Sorry I lied. Class canceled. Maybe. A K-bar. That's a K-bar. Yeah, I mean, K-bars do make bayonets. There are K-bar bayonets. Thank you so much, Joe.
Or jury nullification, where a jury just ignores the evidence so that you get a hung jury.
You know, Jonathan, the biblical thing is so interesting. Remember, tell me, I probably don't remember all of it, but something go an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I mean, he deserves what he gets. Eye for an eye. I don't know exactly.
I thought I know in the Old Testament. All right, I'm not a fucking biblical expert, especially I'm not going to claim to be one. But I thought in the Old Testament was an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But then in the New Testament, doesn't it say like an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, or is that just another saying? Is that not in the New Testament? Oh, Karen says, sorry, failed. Must change card for PayPal. Oh, Code of Hammurabi? The Code of Hammurabi is an eye for an eye? Only DC judge would have enough TDS to apologize to a Trump assassin. It predates the old, no, it's not biblical? Okay. Eye for an eye was Hammurabi. It's considered a dagger. Okay. Wow. You never heard of the ladder? I thought double-edged serrated blade.
My Bible's a little shaky, but I know it's in the Old Testament someplace.
Well, I was told by a Texas state judge once. She turned to me and said, I know where Jesus lives. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, he's in our state prison because everyone finds him there. And, so it's not particularly surprising, but it's a little bit belated for him to turn to the Bible.
Yeah, well, everybody discovers.
I never
God in
claimed
the
to be a
trenches.
Bible
I
expert,
understand
Steve.
that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm okay with the counsel. He should get a counsel, get a lawyer. I'm okay with that. You're right. Constitutional law. I get it. I just don't like judges apologizing to criminals who would be involved in mass shootings. I just don't like that. I don't know these judges, left-wing judges in Washington, D.C. I don't want to go there. I don't have evidence. I'm just saying it kind of strikes me.
Maybe.
I don't want to coddle this guy. If he wants a nice
we don't want to coddle this guy like this judge does. We don't want
house
to coddle
someplace,
this guy.
then he should have figured out what he's.
Yeah. The judge decried the prison treatment of Trump's alleged would-be assassin, and apologized to him for the restrictive confinement. Jesus said, the Old Testament said, an eye for an eye, but I tell you to love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So where did that an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind? Where did that come from? I guess I could Google it, but fuck, man. Oh, that's Gandhi. That's fucking Gandhi. Sorry. Gandhi says an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. It's often attributed to Gandhi. Oh, okay. So Gandhi said it. Well, I don't know. Never mind then. What do I care what Gandhi says? Someone who is anti-scripture, yeah. Jim, I don't think you get it. The judge thinks that he should be getting fed steak every night. No, I get it. I get it. Testing about the F word. Oh, did I oh, okay. You're supposed to send the killers to their own city? Okay. Moses takes from Abraham? Okay. Old Testament borrowed Hammurabi and Lex Talionis. Cole Allen's been in federal custody since prosecutors say he attempted to gain access to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and kill Trump and other high-level government officials. Magistrate Judge Zia Farraquai, who formerly was on the band Jamiroquai and sang the song "Feels Good," all right. That's the old covenant, though. I mean, all these people love Islam. They're like, we should be more diverse, and accepting of other, cultures and everything. And all these other cultures, they'd be chopping people's hands off for stealing and stuff. Get Joe, he know. It means not to zealously retaliate for something small, not to mutilate someone in response to an injury. Okay. That he was fascinated and disturbed by Allen's treatment. Allen was placed on suicide watch when he first imprisoned. So if they wouldn't have put him on suicide watch and he killed himself, then they would have say, "Oh my God, they killed him," or "Oh my God, this is all set up because they Jeffrey Epsteined him." And suicide watch protocols mandated that Cole remain on 24-hour lockdown in a safe cell and have no phone access to call or receive visits from anyone other than his legal team. His lawyers also want to be able to obtain a tablet to assist his legal defense. He also allegedly denied a copy of the Bible, despite more than one request. Oh, Lynn Panic, what's up? Thank you so much for the 5. Wow, thank you. That means we are now $93 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $43 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Sun Disc God. Okay. Tit for tat, which in today's world has new meaning. Yeah, a lot of tits have tats these days. But an incredulous Farraquai wasn't convinced by that argument, drawing comparisons. Yes. Prosecutor Jocelyn Ballantyne reasoned that since Allen told investigators he did not expect to survive, he could be a danger to himself. But this judge was incredulous and said, "I don't buy that. I got no time for that." That's what the judge said. Just said, "I got no time for that." To me, it's extremely disturbing that he was put on a 5-point restraint, a person with no criminal history. What? Are you fucking serious? He tried to storm into the fucking White House Correspondents' Dinner armed with 2 guns, a bunch of knives, shot a fucking Secret Service agent, and you're wondering why he was restrained? This judge needs to be removed fucking immediately. Whoever's in charge of the D.C. fucking courts that put this judge on, they need to immediately, someone needs to fucking step in. District court judges, holy fucking hell. Congress, start calling people in. Get this fucking magistrate in front of you. Make him fucking answer questions. He's going to say the wrong shit and make a fool of himself. Wow. He's got no criminal history. Motherfucker. You know who else had no criminal history? Fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, John Gacy, Ted Bundy. Till they're fucking caught, dumbass. Judge said even January 6th defendants were only housed in correctional treatment facilities, a less restricted form of prison housing. They were fucking oh my God. Yeah, Hinckley. All these people. Yeah. Yeah, Bill Cosby. Same difference, right? Pardons may erase conviction, but they don't erase history, he said. They were hanging gallows outside. Who am I to say to Alan that this is going to be a fair process for putting him in a safe cell when he's not supposed to be there? At a minimum, I should be apologizing to him. We are obligated to make sure he's taken care of. And I'm sorry things have not been the way they're supposed to be. I'm at a loss for words right now on how angry I am. And what I want to say would probably get knocks on my door. So I'm not going to say it, because even though I have the right to say what I want to say and I'm not threatening anybody, this fucking judge needs to be removed from office legally. Legally. Congress is happy with the way things are. It sure seems like that. Hey. He had no criminal history before that, so we can't charge him. Maybe a diversion program would be best. Yeah, he's being treated like every other high-profile prisoner. But you see, he's a hero to them. He's Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione might walk, man. This is it. This is what they're going to do. You believe the judge thinks what this guy did was a good thing? Yes, that's what I'm saying. This judge has a prejudice. This judge should be removed. Many representatives need removal from office. Yes. You second? Oh, thank you, Karen. Sometimes the jokes don't land. I see you. Well, it seems normal protocol for this prisoner. I don't get the judge being so concerned. Since when is that their job? It's not their job. It's not their job to micromanage the prison system. The prison system has to do what it has to do and follow the law and the Constitution. This is a fucking magistrate judge. This is like the traffic court of the federal system. Oof. Oh. Oh. Well, yeah. Nullification, yeah. So this jail is going to let me know by tomorrow morning what's going on with your housing situation. If not, I'm going to have more questions for them. We should be able to get you into that medium portion of the jail with windows. Medium portion of the jail? This guy fucking charged into the White House Correspondents' Dinner with 2 guns and 2 knives, shot a fucking Secret Service agent. That's not medium security. How the fuck is that medium security? Hinckley has a YouTube channel. Pretty crazy. How is that medium security? The judge is outside of its purview. Oh, you ain't kidding. He sings old country song. Yeah, music. Legal visits. Ask for legal visits. Do not accept these things that these things are acceptable. So this judge is giving this guy legal advice, telling him just ask for legal visits. Ask every day for legal visits. He's not entitled to what the fucking court, the fucking prison has to accommodate this guy every day for legal visits. I don't think so. Yeah, that's what she's going. Hip hip hooray! Tried to kill the president. That's what this judge is doing. Prison operates by its own standards as far as housing assignment, detailed assignments, and programs. Yeah. J6 had awful conditions. So, yeah, some of those people were in those cells for a fucking year. For a year. Judge ordered the jail to update him by tomorrow. This judge, if the fucking DOJ doesn't immediately go to the district judge and say, this person has to be off the case, they're a fucking lunatic. A fucking lunatic. The thrashing of the DOC and prosecution followed a motion filed on Sunday by Allen's attorneys requesting he be removed from suicide precautions. However, Allen's attorneys asked to withdraw the motion on Sunday afternoon after they said they learned he was no longer under the jail's suicide precautions. Despite the withdrawal, Farrakhan ordered the prosecution defense and legal counsel for a DOC to appear before him on Monday for emergency hearing anyway. So the judge ordered this hearing sua sponte on his own accord because the motion for the hearing was withdrawn. There was no motion for a hearing. The judge has an agenda, yes. What did they hold tin, copper, and bronze in while melting it? Stone. They used stone. They had stone pots, maybe. I don't know. Good question. Jim, they give prisoners free tablets nowadays and they can rent movies and make video calls. You're not joking? The judge is trying to let him out on bail. Oh, yeah, the judge is trying to let him out on bail. That's what's going on. Let him go home. Let him go home. Despite the withdrawal, he ordered him to appear anyway. The court has grave concerns about the defendant's seemingly unprompted solitary confinement for days and overall conditions of confinement. As such, the parties and a representative of the Department of Corrections shall appear in courtroom 4 by May 4th to explain the conditions. Yeah, doesn't Roberts run the D.C. district? That judge is as good as permanent. Yeah, well, Roberts, what the fuck, John Roberts? If I'm not mistaken, magistrate judges are hired by district judges. They vote on letting them in there. So they're picked by them. I'm pretty sure they could be fucking fired by Congress. Yeah, you got to go. And I don't think you got to fucking impeach them. They can just be fired. So you're going to tell me that other people in government could be fired easier than a magistrate judge? I don't think so. On April 30th, Allen declined to exercise his right to a pretrial detention hearing. He remains in custody and is expected in court for a preliminary hearing on May 11th. Yeah, let him go home so we can try again. We have to face that at least a third to a half of our federal judges have no business being on the bench. Yeah. I'd say probably a third of our Supreme Court justices have no business being on the bench. The Bronze Age was high end. I don't know. Well, all right. Well, here, let's do this. Nick Shirley said he was almost taken hostage in Cuba. He says he went to Cuba to document the humanitarian crisis and show what life under 60 years of communism is. They seized all his cameras except his iPhone. Intelligence agents followed him all day until security noticed their spies tailing us to a hotel. They waited all night to come down. Wow.
All right. Depending when this comes out, or if it does, we are currently being tailed by Cuban intelligence here in Havana, Cuba. I came here. I've been wanting to make a video for so long about life in communism.
I'll tell you right now, though, if the fucking Cuban government is stupid enough to do anything to this guy, they're getting invaded. Trump isn't going to fuck around. That room in Cuba, oh, yes, there are high-end hotels in Cuba. High-end hotels. High-end hotels. Yeah, they're effed. Definitely. They do anything to this guy. Yeah. Cassius Belli. That's correct. They do anything to this guy. They're spooked.
And showing people what communism is like in a place like Cuba, for instance. Came here to make this video, and when people think about communism, they typically just think about how communism is supposed to make everything equal, whether it be the amount of money someone makes or how food's distributed and how the markets are then controlled by the government. However, something that people do not think about, including myself, is how in communism,
I bet the Democrats asked the Cuban regime to hold on to him. If they were stupid enough to do that, that's what you would call like straight up treason, like legitimate treason. We have been in a de facto Cold War with the Cuban government with embargoes and all this other stuff, like passed by Congress embargoes, you know. So that would be, you'd be arresting them. Any Democrat that talked to the Cuban government that said hold an American citizen, that would be immediate arrest. Like you're basically, that's facilitating a kidnapping of an American citizen. It would be I hope they did, because the NSA would have those communications and those motherfuckers would be gone, baby, gone. AI says they had ceramics. Oh, okay. I guess ceramic crucibles. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, buy some meat from King of Biltong. There you go. Use code JIM to save 10%. Those 8-ounce bags makes excellent gifts. Yes, they do. Use promo code JIM, King of Biltongs, for all your biltong needs. It's very fresh, made in the USA, all natural. I prefer the Angus to the Wagyu, but I haven't tried some of the other ones. I'm gonna try some of the other ones soon. I'll let you know. Indigenous people in Cuba making use of every bits and parts they find. Meteor iron, maybe pure iron. Shipping is the pits. Yeah, it sucks.
They do not have freedom of speech. They don't have freedom of press. And therefore, they want to make sure everything that is posted or out in the world about their country is filtered or censored. So here in Cuba, as soon as I arrived into Cuba, I did everything that you need to do to come into Cuba as far as the documentation that it takes to come into Cuba. Right now, there's a big problem taking place here in Cuba, the largest humanitarian crisis they've had in maybe 50 years. And there's no oil or gas due to the blockade after
it's
Trump
expensive. It is.
Over and capturing
it's not
the euro.
cheap.
So Venezuela is no longer supporting Cuba with any oil or gas. And that also affects everything that they have essentially, between whether it be the food or from it being the lights and the power shortages here, or just the gas alone. Here in Cuba, you hardly see any cars driving around because nobody can afford gas. For 1 liter of gas, it's $10. Okay, so where am I getting? Where am I getting from here? So I go out at the airport. They seize all of my cameras. They seize both my GoPros, my Meta glasses. These are not my Meta glasses.
Oh, we got a $10 super chat from Christine Doer. Thank you, Christine. I freaking hate our injustice system. I didn't find out how corrupt it was until I got my bachelor's degree in CJ, specialized in criminal justice, specialized in forensic science. Only 2 teachers like me. Lol. Prayers for Nick Shirley. Yes. This is like I don't know. The lights work there. Yes, they have generators. There is power. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for the $10. That means we are now just $83 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $33 away from Bellavision. Wow. Thank you so much. Yes, the lights work there. Yes, they do. Thank you so much, Christine. They have generators and they have diesel and stuff like that. They could run for the hotels and stuff, but they're going to have electricity and stuff like that. So
all my microphones. However, the only thing they don't take is my iPhone camera. That's what I'm filming this on right now. They don't take my iPhone camera, and somehow they didn't get this microphone that was in the very, very bottom of my backpack. So we get out and we go start to make the video asking Cubans about life in communism, showing what's going on with the blockade, showing kind of the downfall.
So basically, they stole all his stuff. They stole everything. They stole. He ain't getting it back.
Of Cuba. One sec. I'm working on getting this out. Right now, we're currently planning our escape route out of Cuba right now. So I had to respond to take a message to get out of here somehow. So we go out into the streets and we start filming this video. We're showing people what life is like in Cuba right now, how there's hardly any cars on the streets. The buildings are...
Oh, I wonder, Hassan Piker was there. Remember Hassan Piker went there and he said it was great. It was awesome. They showed him all the stuff and everything was great. Same with AOC and Ilhan Omar's daughter and all them. I wonder if they were searched and all their stuff confiscated. Yeah. Communism is what's yours is mine. Yeah. Let's see what it looks like in Cuba.
Like crumbling, essentially. All the university is destroyed. The University of Cuba. There's hardly any food out for the people, and just the mass poverty that's taking place.
He said he's got some security with them, so I hope he's got some good security.
Well, when we're doing one interview near a hospital where there's a huge line outside the hospital, because here the hospitals aren't even working, essentially. The lines are taking forever, and with their hospital and the government controlling the hospital, that also affects the power. So right now you currently have surgeons doing operations with flashlights because there's no power inside of the hotel.
Wow. I mean, yeah, Hassan, that commie bastard. Yes, he is. He's a commie bastard. I mean, I'd be more worried about them doing surgery with like surgical items that aren't properly sterilized and clean. You know, no one got to get cut with like a rusty scalpel and all. You know, yes, run, and not to mention also like I'm pretty sure aren't liquid antibiotics and stuff like that they have to give you like when you're getting surgery and stuff like that. Isn't all this stuff supposed to be refrigerated? So if they don't have electricity for lights, they don't have electricity for refrigeration.
In the hospitals. Right now, I'm in the only hotel in Havana that has 24/7 electricity, 24/7, because this is the only one that has that access. That's the reason why I booked this hotel was because their website was the only one that was operating 24/7. All the other ones.
Yeah. So he booked this one. So Thatcher said socialism, communism works great until you run out of other people's money. Yes. The judge is appointed by the rest of the wacko DC circuit. Judiciary is crooked. It totally is. Nick should hire Joe Dolio and friends. I'm pretty sure Joe would say, we're not going to Cuba. I don't think Joe would go. Joe would be like, we're not going there. They're going, oh, what? Hopefully courage is contagious. I hope so too. But like, I would think, I would hope. I mean, he had to get permission from the U.S. government to go there. So, and I'm sure he was able to get it through like Rubio, and these people probably said, yeah, sure, go ahead, you know, and like he's talked to people in the government because of the stuff with the fraud stuff. So they could technically, like the Cuban government might be treating him like he's a potential spy, basically, because that's probably what they're treating him like. He's a potential U.S. spy for the U.S. You know, even though, you know, because he's going to report the truth, that makes him a spy.
To work. So that's why I was able to get this hotel. And anyways, we're filming this video, and when we're next to the hospital, we see undercover cop roll up on us, and my security guards that are with me, they detected him, and then all of a sudden there's another one. So we hop back in another taxi, we left the scene, and we thought we were good. They didn't tell us, and we left. But since we left the airport, we had been getting tailed, or the word had gotten out that there was a journalist inside of Cuba. There's only 2 flights that come in here every single day. So it wasn't hard to spot out who the journalist was, and that's what my tourist visa said. That's what my visa said. It said for journalistic activities. So you can come here. There's 12 categories in which you can come, and journalist activities is one of those. So therefore, that is why I came. And right now, it is currently 9:30, and we have Cuban intelligence down in the lobby of the hotel right now.
They're probably already there
to essentially try to round us up and potentially imprison us or make it so we cannot leave Cuba.
Wherever he investigates, the feds are not far behind.
To escape Cuba. Our original flights is to leave on Saturday. Right now it's Thursday, so we're going to be leaving tomorrow morning if we can make it.
Joe's got something to say about this. Joe knows. Jim, you don't want to worry about sterilization in hospitals of Cuba. There is none. My brother-in-law died because of the great Michael Moore free medical of the island. Yeah. Well, no, because Nick, I only brought it up, Joe, because of what Nick Shirley said about, you know, they're doing surgery by flashlight. And I was like, you're more worried about, you know, like dirty instruments and stuff and bacteria and refrigeration and stuff. That's all I was getting at. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, Gundam. Like wherever he investigates, the feds are not far behind. He has ties to the U.S. government, like not official ties maybe, but people know him. He's known. So.
To the airport. We're about 1.5 miles away from the U.S. Embassy right now, which could be our possible way out of this situation by going to the embassy. However, that does not stop.
Oh, they definitely have mics and stuff in the hotel room. Definitely.
Before we get to the embassy. It's about 1.5 miles away, so we have to make it to the embassy. And right now there's
Trump knows him personally. Yeah, Trump knows who he is.
Spies down at the bottom.
If something happens to him,
and we have to figure out how we're going to escape. We're trying to get a hold of the embassy.
They might they might have a fucking problem, not official, but like they might have a fucking problem for what how they treated him anyway by taking his shit. They might get an actual, like, like the State Department and our government are like, you fucking robbed one of our citizens. What are you doing? You want to rob our citizens? All right, watch this. Now nothing's coming in. Suffer. Yeah, socialism sounds great to people who need others to make decisions for them. Yeah. Cuba has free medical. Too bad there are no doctors, facilities, or medicine. Gitmo services are close on the island. Well, that's the same. Like, that would be the thing. Like, if I was him and he's really scared, I would just try to make it to Guantanamo Bay. If you can't, but that's like, Cuba's not a tiny island. It's not tiny. And I think, Joe, there's a mountain range in between Guantanamo Bay and Havana. So if he's in Havana, he might not be able to get there easily. Am I right about that? I think there's a mountain range. Jim, Cuba is not touching that kid, and if they know better, he'll get his stuff back. That's what I'm saying. If they fuck around with this kid, yeah.
Right now, and see if we can stay there overnight, and then buy our airplane ticket last minute, so that doesn't pull off any red flags to the Cuban government before we arrive to the airport. This is not a joke. When we talk about communism and we talk about the effects of communism, something that you often don't look at is the freedom of speech or the freedom of press, to just simply be able to give your opinion out in the public and have it be then posted by a journalist. That's all I was doing today, was asking people.
I have an idea. Trump could declare Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is a U.S. ship, and then Cuba touched one of our ships. We know what happens when you touch our boats. Don't worry about the mountains. It's the mines. Besides, there's 400 miles from Havana. But that's what I thought. I was like, I don't think he's not close enough to try to make it there. Similar operation as in Venezuela. Yeah. I honestly don't think it would be as hard as Venezuela was. I really don't.
About the current situation, asked a few people about communism, and that's when it really got bad. It was when this evening I left the hotel around 5 before sunset to go out, and the idea was we were going to go walk the streets of Cuba at night and show all the power shortage and how the lights get cut out and people don't have electricity at night. So we had planned to walk around the streets after the sun went down, and so I was conducting some interviews before the sun went down, and I asked a man about communism, and that's when we realized that the Cuban intelligence was at the hotel, because as soon as we walked out and I interviewed this man, he had a lady come up when I started talking about communism, and she started recording on the back. And we confronted her and said, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm not taking a photo. She said she's on a phone call, but her phone was open to the photo. And so one of my security guards stayed with me. The other went and followed her from behind, and he tracked her down, and she ended up noticing him as well. And she went to a another Cuban intelligence spy, and then they came to the hotel lobby. And before that, when we were eating lunch today, after we had gotten through customs at the airport, after they had seized all my stuff, my GoPros and my meta glasses and all my microphones, another man was at the hotel, and he was all by himself. And then this evening, he was with the 2 Cuban spies in the lobby. So right now we are trying to plan our escape route. We have a few options. The main one is to leave here and then go play taxi tag, as far as hopping in another taxi to make sure we aren't getting trailed by them, and then make our way to the embassy, and then from the embassy by.
So America First said someone should have warned Nick Shirley that what he was intended to do was not going to go over well in Cuba. Yeah, like you can't ask about communism in a communist country. They don't want people talking about it, because if they can't, they're not going to tell the truth anyway. They're going to tell you, if they don't say it's great, they're going to get arrested, thrown in jail. You saved enough money, Travis, to build the boat? That's awesome. Only when defending invasion into Gitmo. Well, and Joe says it'll be harder. The president never stays in the same place, and Cubans are world-class snitches. Trump can name Nick an ambassador. That'll take care of any issues. That would be a problem. Yeah. Do we know if he's home yet? This just got released today. I didn't even know about this until someone said something in the chat. My friend Derek from Frames and Rhythm told me, and I pulled it up. I was like, what? Nick Shirley went to Cuba. Nick is on an armed magic carpet. I can already hear all the lefties saying this is fake. Yeah, they'll say, like, we went there. We didn't have any problems. No, Nick did, the USS Shirley. Oh, okay. All right. All right, I got it. You believe he knows. Got to admit, Nick has some fancy royal curtains behind him. Well, this is the hotel, man. This is the hotel he's in. You know. This is the hotel. This is probably the same hotel that Hassan Piker stayed in.
Our flight around 7 a.m., make it to the airport at 8 a.m., hop on our flight at 8:30, and then be out of Cuba. The other options are...
You thought they didn't have electricity. This is the only hotel that has 24-hour electricity. This is like the top hotel that they make sure has electricity. This is where all like people from, you know, stay. I don't know, you know, like foreign people stay, like that they're take care of. This is the only way like they get foreign cash. This is how they get foreign cash, US dollars and stuff, by these hotels. Otherwise, they're not getting it really. Nice hotel is what I was saying. Oh, okay. All right. It has power and everything. Yeah. According to him, this is the only hotel that has power around the clock.
We stay here in our hotel and hope they don't come and round us up in the middle of the night. The only problem is tomorrow is May 1st, and that is essentially...
Well, no, Nick is claiming that he got permission. He got permission from the government, like the U.S. government, for journalistic purposes. That's why he's there. According to him, he said there's 12 reasons that you could come in, and that was one of them. Yeah, so they can trick dumbass Americans. I don't know if I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, they do let other journalists have gone to Cuba to film things. So no Havana syndrome yet. Research before leave. I don't know.
Essentially, their 4th of July here. We're just outside of the hotel we're staying at right now. They're going to have a huge march for communism for the current president. And that's their July 4th parade, essentially. That is going to be taking place right outside our hotel.
So was this filmed on May Day? Doubt it. Doubt it. That said, whatever ends that situation, I'm for it. I'm wondering if this is old. Like this, maybe this got released after he got back or something. Because he's saying they're going to have the big parade, which is like the 4th of July. That's May Day, right? Isn't that May 1st? And this is May 4th. So that would have been May. This was filmed May 1st, I would imagine. So maybe he was there for when no one knows about it. All the other journalists, while they're there, they were reporting how great life was in Cuba. They're not critical of Cuba in any way. They are going to let him talk to the dead. It's old. So I'm saying this is from May 1st. Yes, May 1st. Okay, yeah, this has got to be from May 1st.
Hotel. Had no idea that was happening beforehand, and until we got to the hotel, and they said,
wait a minute, you didn't know? He didn't know there was going to be a huge parade on May 1st, on May Day in Cuba? You didn't know that?
That happens every single year. It's their biggest march they do every single year, and it is for communism. You cannot speak out against communism when you live inside a communist country. Last time that happened in 2021 here in Cuba, lots of people were arrested, and it was not good. And the other times that happened were, I believe, like the 1960s. So communism does not allow the truth to be told. In fact, it just censors what people can do. And right now they are literally trying to kidnap and detain me and my 2 security guards that are here with me right now from leaving Cuba. And we're trying to do everything we can to somehow do something with this footage. And so if this video does make it out into the world, I have either been kidnapped or I am safe. If it's after May 1st, I am not kidnapped. But if the video is, all right, I'm not going to get kidnapped, so I'm not going to say that. So I'm going to post this video though to show you guys the risk that we're in right now, and we are going to make it out of Cuba. If there's a will, there's a way. But this is currently what we are planning right now and going through, because we legit have Cuban spies at the bottom of our hotel room. We're on the 8th floor right now. They're in the lobby right now. security guard just went down to see what was going on, and they're all down there in the lobby. There's a few singers down at the restaurant.
Why 1st of May, Cuba? May Day. It's a communist, is that the date of the communist revolution or something like that? May Day? Or something? Like, then that's where they always had the parades in Russia, in the Soviet Union. They always have parades. They would have the big military parades and everything. Yes. Oh, May the 4th be with you. That's right. May the 4th be with you. Thank you. That's right, everybody. Today is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And I forgot to go to Burger King today and get the special. Son of a, I totally forgot. Thank you for the $2. That means we are now $81 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $31 away from Bellavision, which I don't think we're going to hit Bellavision, or I don't think we're going to hit it. So maybe I'll just put Bella on for the rest of the show. That way everybody can see her butt there. She's see her behind. There she is. We'll just hang out with Bella for the rest of the show because May the 4th be with you. I don't think we're going to hit it, but if we do hit it, then we hit it, so it doesn't matter. Either way, we already been 2 hours and 40 minutes, so maybe 4th with you always. Yes. May the 4th be with you always. If you strike him down, he will only come back stronger, more powerful. Yes. Bellavision. Yeah, you guys get Bellavision. It's for Wookiee Life Day.
Right now, so we're thinking to go down, blend in, and then sneak our way out for the night and make our way to the embassy. This is probably the most dangerous situation I've ever been into. This is probably the most dangerous situation.
I think he's probably home.
Especially when you have
I'll look right now.
No power here, essentially because the United States and Cuba, they do not like each other. There's been an embargo since the 1960s here, where the United States has not allowed other businesses to do work with Cuba. And it's also, then right now you have Trump even saying that he might have the pleasure of taking Cuba. And Marco Rubio, obviously, he has even said openly that he doesn't think a regime change would be bad, which it wouldn't. Look what's happening right now because of communism. They literally have spies downstairs right now trying to round this up before we're able to publish these videos. So if I make it out, this video gets seen. If it doesn't, I'm most likely in a prison cell, which I really hope is not the case. Third option is we somehow get to the embassy and we get a private jet and we make our way out. Other option is to steal a boat and take it all the way to the Coast Guard and then surrender to the U.S. Coast Guard and make our way into the United States. So those are pretty much our options right now. We have somebody outside, even on the street, in a blacked out vehicle, eyeing us from our hotel room. And now we are trying to figure out what to do. Anyways, that is the current situation. I'm currently potentially about to be kidnapped here in Cuba. I hope that is not the case, but I think you guys should know exactly what is happening and the risk we are taking.
Yeah, well, and then, yeah, this is crazy. This is April 18th. So this happened 7 hours ago too. We're going to watch this in 1 second, but I wanted to get to this. All I do today, I'm turning 52 tomorrow. Thank you, Brian. Tomorrow you will get happy birthday sang to you tomorrow on the show. I will sing happy birthday to Brian Ogden tomorrow. It's not going to be the old, it's not going to be the whole Marilyn Monroe happy birthday because, he's a dude. That means we're $79 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $29 away from Bellavision, which we already have Bellavision, but I like to keep track. Happy birthday to Brian. We, the ultra nuclear extreme MAGA people of Planet E, are the best is yet to come. MAGA, make it all great again. I skipped watching Star Wars movies for the past few May 4th, almost did this year, and then Hamill had to show up with Obama, and I said, F no. Your son is a couple years older than him, you'd be losing it. Well, I think he's home because I Googled, is he still in Cuba? And nothing came. It said, that he posted about his harrowing journey in Cuba and stuff, that he's home. So, I mean, he posted it, so he's got to be home. Yep. Youngin, 52. Happy birthday. Yep. Joe says, if I don't catch you tomorrow, let me wish you a happy, blessed birthday. Happy birthday, Brian. Yes. Have a drink first, then do Marilyn Monroe birthday. Grab your DD-214. Let's go to Gitmo, your closest CENTCOM field trip. I don't think they'd want a couple of old guys getting in their way. Just saying. Yes. Yeah. Hamill, may the disappointment be with you. I mean, I'd go, but I don't think they'd want me clogging up the place. So here it says Nick Shirley started a trend. A Fox reporter just went Nick Shirley mode, confronting an alleged hospice fraudster in Gavin Newsom's California. They shut the door and begged Fox to leave.
My name is William LaJeunesse with Fox News. You're with Graceful Care?
Yes.
Can I talk to you a little about some questions of the care that you provided to individuals up in the Central Valley?
At the moment, I have some workers here being toasted.
Okay. You want us to wait outside?
Please don't go.
Okay. You want us to wait outside?
That's our own William LaJeunesse confronting an alleged fraudster in California. More on that investigation and Medicaid fraud nationwide coming up. It is costing this country a fortune. We'll speak with.
Wow. Well, that's, that was interesting, I guess. So let's see what else we got here. Bookmarks. Oh, this is funny. Look at Pocahontas. This is Pocahontas. She finally was able to take out Spirit.
I will never lose. Spirits of the rain, help guide my aim. Time to bring this bird down. Locking on target now. Direct hit, burn! Fuck Spirit Airlines!
That was pretty funny. Oh, look at this. Christine for 20. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. That means right now we are just $59 away from adding a first additional hour and only $9 away from Bellavision. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, I think you gave it 10 earlier. Yes, you did. So that actually does get Bellavision. There you go. That means, so that means we are just 59 away from adding a first additional hour. I'll fix it. We do have Bellavision because you gave 10 before, and then the 20. That makes more than 25. Thank you so much. Who you call? Oh, my brain is 30. Well, thank you again, Christine. A kid has to show the journalist how to journalism. Dan says, I've been retired from the Air Force since October 2013. I don't think I'm who they want. Princess Tiger Lily. Bet not U.S. citizens? Yeah. God, please help me. I despise that woman. Yeah. Spirit of what? Spirit of the airline, I guess. I don't know. She was killing the spirit of the airline. Bella doesn't work for free. Well, thank you, Christine. Thank you. She appreciates it. You can see she's working hard. She works so hard, she can't even move. Let's see. Oh, this one. Now, this one I liked. This one I really liked, but I think this one is going to be an issue because the song. But this is a good one.
Woke up quick, dropped the truth by noon. Just know I gotta arrest Barack Obama soon.
Okay. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this out later because of the music is from from Straight Outta Compton.
I gotta expose the coup before the day begins, before the fake news buries all my wins. I checked the files and damn near went blind. Comey and his voice is tapping almost every line. Ran to the desk and grabbed my grip with a smoky gun on the side of my hip. Bailed outside and dived and started prepping. Just as I thought, the snake stopped stepping. Jumped in a beast, hit the gas on the ride. I toothed up and down and side to side. Then I let the briefing play. Pumping raw leaks from the NSA. It was treason at the top of the list. Then I dropped my own post. It went something like this. Posted on my app on Truth Social. Dropping subpoenas. Exposing the show. Went to the hill to get the scoop. Swamp rats out there still ducking the truth. A car pulls up. Who can it be? A blacked out van. It was Hillary C. She rolled down the window and she started to say,
I've been taking tranquilizers and Obama's gay!
Cause the spies in the swamp were lying hard. Ran a coup on me, now I'm pulling their card. F around and find out they try to make me quit. You can quote me, bro. I'll make Obama my bitch.
That was a good. I was gonna do that one for the intro of the show, but I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what that. I posted the link for the Kamala Harris or for the Pocahontas one, for the Elizabeth Warren one. So, hey, KPT, what's up? Great to see you. You think that was horrible? I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. I don't know. This is good too. This is Wesley Hunt. So this is a prime example of why Wesley Hunt is a prime example of why this arguments about minority districts and yes, he says, now that's what AI is for. That's what I'm saying. Now, this is why the minority district thing had a fall. Guys like Wesley Hunt, guys like Byron Donalds, people like Tim Scott, this is why. He says, I'm told I don't understand American history, that I'm misinformed, but my family's story, our service, our sacrifice, that's American history. It's funny, Senator Warnock, we're told to be strong, to be black, to be proud. But the second a black American stands up, thinks for himself, and refuses to follow the left script, it becomes a problem. I'm not here to fit your narrative. I'm here to break it.
Here's what Congressman Wesley Hunt of Texas said when he was asked about the 4 black Republicans to leave Congress.
I'm being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. I don't care how many black people are here. I want the most qualified people that are here.
So what do you make of the argument from Congressman Hunt?
He's quoting the words of Dr. King. He doesn't understand our American history. It's uninformed. Representation does matter. We hurt the democracy itself, and we make it harder to get
the democracies. That's the thing. Whenever Democrats say democracy, whenever Democrats, demon rats, say the word democracy, what they're really saying is Democrats. That's what they're saying. Democrats. That's what they mean by democracy is Democrats. Power for Democrats. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about the will of the people. They're just talking about Democrat power. Yeah, ride the black wave.
that a policy that embrace all of our children and give every child a chance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardship of the Negro race before the public, having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles. They have grown into a shared, settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington was a Republican, by the way. Yeah. Did Hunt run for Senate? Lost him his seat? I think so. I think he can only run for. Hey, what's up, Finch? Great for seeing. Thanks for being here. I think he can't run for because he was ran in a primary. I think he ran in a primary for the Senate and lost. But I don't know. I mean, he might be able to because he's not running. He might be able to run now because they probably had to if they redistrict the stuff in Texas, they're going to have to redo the sign up stuff. So maybe he can run again in a new district. Why not? I don't know. We'll have to see if he's going to run again. I guess they would probably have to, if they're moving districts around, they're going to have to make the stuff later to sign in. So maybe he could run now because he's not running for the Senate. So unless there's a rule saying you can't run for two things at the same thing, I don't know. Or maybe you can only be on one ballot at a time. So maybe it's a way for him to do it. Maybe. I don't know. We have a capitalist Confederate republic, not a capitalist democracy. If you're good at what you do, I don't care what color or gender you are. Exactly. NPR just reaffirmed what lost federal funding. It ran a segment that falsely claimed that the court gutted the Voting Rights Act and suggested that Calais rolled back on protections against Jim Crow laws. That's crazy, right? The colorblind Constitution, the Roberts Court ends a sordid business. Yeah, so this is his column about it. The case barring racial gerrymandering was a capstone of years of opinions from figures like Chief Justice John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and others to restore a colorblind Constitution. Jim, back in Booker T. Washington's day, I do not believe there was any black person that was a Democrat. Yeah, I don't believe so either. You know why? Because the Democrat Party was the fucking KKK, man. I'm pretty sure they could not give an accurate definition of a Dumbo rat, like KBJ couldn't give the Senate a definition of a woman. The Supreme Court's decision in Louisiana, Calais, barring racial gerrymandering, has many on the left feigning vapors. They got the vapors, despite the predictions of many of this result was likely, while figures such as Jamie Raskin declared the court itself to be gerrymandered to rig the upcoming election. These fucking people. Yes, whenever you hear the demon rats say democracy, they mean Democrat power. That's right. That's right. It was actually a culmination of decades of jurisprudence by various justices, particularly Chief Justice John Roberts. Indeed, the decision will cement the legacy of the Roberts Court and moving the country towards a colorblind system of law. It'll be a sad day when Clarence Thomas retires. He's the best judge up there. You ain't kidding. Yeah, Booker T. Washington and the owner of Sears started schools in the South for blacks to get educated after slavery, but the Dems don't talk about that. No, they won't. They won't talk about it. They won't talk about it at all. Like most Americans, Robert abhors racial discrimination in any form. He holds the quaint idea that when the drafters of the 14th Amendment barred discriminations on the basis of race, they meant it. That's why in 2006, Roberts famously wrote, "It's a sordid business, the divvying up by race." Roberts sees no difference between such discriminations when it disfavors one or another race. It's all a sordid business. Yeah. He has spent decades writing eloquent arguments for the courts to abandon its conflicted and hypocritical approach to racial discrimination. That's it. I mean, if all discrimination is bad and it shouldn't be done, that's it. By race, racial discrimination is bad, shouldn't be done. Roberts is trying to repair his reputation after the Obamacare debacle, which exposed his corruption to me. I believe some of the decisions that when he talked about stuff was actually before the Obamacare one. Okay, that was 2006, this one, which was before Obamacare, when he wrote that about the sordid business of divvying up by race. So, the court has struggled to rationalize using race to discriminate when it serves a higher purpose, such as greater equity or affirmative action. Some of those opinions were constitutionally incomprehensible. That's right. You have to bend over backwards and contort, be all contorted and stuff to try to make it work. For example, in 2003, in Grutter v. Bollinger, the court divided 5-4 on whether to uphold racial admission criteria used to achieve diversity in a class at University of Michigan Law School. However, in her opinion with the majority, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor stated that she expects that 25 years from now, the use of racial preferences will no longer be necessary to further interest approved today. Few of us could understand how O'Connor found a type of expiration date permissible. She didn't. She was just like, oh, well, I don't want to get yelled at. I want to go to cocktail parties. I don't want people to. Yeah, his logic is, he's the man. His logic is almost always spot on. Yeah. Throughout the period, however, certain justices held firm that there is a bright line rule against such racial criteria. That includes another of the court's Calais decisions, Samuel Alito, but also Roberts, who in 2007 put it succinctly, the way to stop discriminating on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Yes. That's it. If you just say you can't do this, that means you can't do it. One can certainly disagree with this interpretation of the low tolerance for racial criteria. However, this had nothing to do with the midterm elections. It is the result of dozens of opinions building up to this point. From college admissions to gerrymandering, the court has created the bright line that figures like Roberts has long sought. In doing so, they have moved this country closer to a colorblind jurisprudence than any time in our history. Yeah, I try not to think about him retiring too. When Roberts argued that the money mandate and Obamacare was a tax and therefore constitutional, I said that someone must have necked pictures of him naked. That's possible, but you know what's also possible? Because at the time, all right, at the time there was talk of at the time of that decision and everything, I believe it was 56, 57, 58 Democrat senators. I know at one time they had a bunch of senators, so he might have been worried that they would stack the court or something. It was Obama presidency. They had the House. They had well, they didn't have no, when he just made the decision, they didn't. That's right. The decision came years later. I don't know. I'd have to. The Biden administration was found repeatedly to have violated the Constitution through racial discrimination in federal programs. Democrat leaders have fought this trend and have pledged to reverse these decisions. Some even demand Democrats pack the court with a liberal majority as soon as they take power. Last year, Supreme Court ruled unanimously that Ames v. Ohio Department of Youth Services that whites cannot be placed under additional burdens while bringing discrimination lawsuits. Yeah, so you can't say that whites have to do something more than anyone else to bring a discrimination lawsuit like that. They actually said that. Well, you got to be able to prove this, this other stuff. And it's like, wait, what? Much of the coverage of the Calais decision is long on rhetoric and short on substance. The court did not gut the Voting Rights Act. It also did not strike down Section 2. Rather, the court held that neither the act nor the Constitution gives legislatures the authority to manipulate districts so as to effectively guarantee the race of elected representatives, any race. For decades, the courts have faced endless litigation over district configurations designed to elect minority representatives. Yeah, Obamacare is awesome. You like your doctor, you can keep your doctor and your thoughts in your heart. That's where my doctor is. Thanks, Obama. And it is a system that gave candidates an advantage based solely on their race. The court held that such racial gerrymandering is unlawful. The Voting Rights Act will now be read to prevent intentional race discrimination, which is what it says. The Voting Rights Act says you cannot discriminate by race. Courts will still bar any districts designed to afford minority voters less opportunity because of their race. That does not mean that racial discrimination has been eliminated in our nation, that we do not need to commit ourselves wholly to its eradication. The stain of slavery and segregation remains with us, as does the lingering scourge of racial prejudice. Oh my God. This is from Jonathan Turley, and you got to remember that he is a liberal. This is a do-gooder liberal. African Americans and other minorities still face invidious discrimination that can't be tolerated. Where? Show me. We still have much work to be done. Show me where. Show me where they're discriminated against. You can say, what, the criminal justice system? Really? It sure seems to me like they get a lot light, sweetheart deals the last 20 years. In areas of voting rights, the courts have and will continue to strike down any rules designed to suppress or block minority voters. Despite this ongoing struggle with racism, there are reasons to be hopeful. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is that's what they're trying to claim is that voter ID is racial discrimination. That's the argument they're making. Voter ID. They don't know where the DMV is. They just can't find it. None of them have ID. As Reverend Martin Luther King put it, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Non-whites are now powerful players in American politics. White voters are expected to be a minority within 2 decades. That's what they're counting. That's what they're counting on. We have now elected a black president, a black vice president, minority leader Hakeem Jeffries, who declared the court illegitimate, expects the next speaker to be the next speaker of the House of Representatives. This progress was hard fought, and both the Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Act played important roles. And the Calais decision is also part of that progress. We're moving to a new era where racial criteria and discrimination are neither rationalized nor tolerated. There is now reason to hope that we will indeed end this sordid business. Yeah. I mean, what the demon rats want, these Democrats want, they wanted us to live like South Africa, where there's like race laws, like South Africa has double the amount of race laws they had during apartheid right now. All of that crap, DEI crap, makes a mockery of MLK and MLK Jr., not by one's skin, but judged by one's character. Yeah. Definitively. This story says Iranian drone strike hits UAE industrial site. Local government confirms. Anti-whiteism is discrimination. The government of Fujirashara, one of the 7 emirates of the UAE, stated Monday that the Iranian drone strike had led to a significant fire in significant oil industrial area. Bell curve of the Reverend. Competent authorities of the Emirate of Fujairah confirmed a large fire in the Fujairah petroleum industries area, the FOAS area, caused by a drone originating from Iran. Fujairah civil defense teams immediately responded to the incident and are continuing efforts to control it. I ordered a Big Mac at Burger King as a Stone teen. Racists are all the same, no matter what color. That's right. In a second statement, the Fujairah government confirmed that 3 Indian nationals sustained moderate injuries have been transferred to the hospital to receive the necessary treatment. Images on social media purported to show the fire revealed a large column of black smoke. So here's the fire. There's the fire. There's the oil zone. Raja oil zone. Drone strike follows the UAE Ministry of Defense stating that Iran had launched 4 missiles towards them, which were intercepted 3 of them, and the fourth reportedly landed in the sea. The 4th reportedly landed in the sea. The worst racists are the ones that dish it out but not receive it back. Yeah. Also, Monday, the U.S. Navy claimed that it had to have escorted ships through the Strait of Hormuz and denied Iranian claims to have struck a U.S. warship. Listen, Trump already said that if they struck a U.S. warship or attempted to strike a U.S. warship, that they were going to be, what did he say? Oh, yeah, completely blown all to hell or something, or completely destroyed. Hamburger helpers here to say, hey, Jim and Bella, how you doing? This says Trump pollers cold water on the latest Iranian peace proposal. They have not paid a big enough price yet for what they've done to humanity in the world over the last 47 years. Well, it sounds like they're about to get some. They're about to, get some, as they say. Get some. They're about to get some. Get some. Efforts continue to broker an end to the war. Now in his 3rd month, as President Trump suggested, the Islamist Republic's latest peace proposal not be enough to satisfy him. Iran suggests setting a 1-month deadline for talks to reopen the straits. No. What is going on here?
Because dealing with Iran, as you know, it's a very disjointed, unfriendly leadership, unfriendly to each other. They're not getting along. They're very, very confused by what's happened because essentially most of their military has been wiped out. But we just had a conversation with Iran. Let's see what happens. But I would say that I am not happy. I mean, do we want to go and just blast the hell out of them and finish him forever, or do we want to try and make a deal? I mean, those are the options.
Do you want to go blast the hell out of them?
I'd prefer not. On a human basis, I prefer not, but that's the option. Do we want to go in there heavy and just blast them away, or do we want to do something? Dealing with Iran, as you know, it's
all right. Well, so that's that with that. Trump warns Iran has not paid a big enough price as he considers a new peace plan. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? I don't know. I mean, if they're doing all this stuff that they're claiming they're doing, I don't see how we don't start bombing them again. I don't see how it doesn't happen. I don't. Oh yeah, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this too, real quick. All right. So yeah, I don't know. Where are they going to bomb? What's going to happen? I would say if I was to put money, if I had to make a wager, if I was forced to make a wager on whether or not, and whoever hit the thumbs down is going to get a rotten bag of ramen nudes. You ain't kidding. I don't know. Somebody comes in here. I think it does it every night just to be a jerk. I don't know. It's like one person every night hits the thumbs down. Anyway, whatever. Hey, what's up, B-Hops? Great to see you. Thanks for being here, buddy. How's it going? Flying alien saucers or something. Yeah, maybe. What's the numbers on deportations? I haven't heard anything on deportations in a while. Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that about 2 million aliens have left the U.S. since Trump returned to office. So I'd have to say, I think there's going to be more. If they're still sending ships out to attack shipping and stuff, and they're still doing this stuff, they're gonna have to do something. You know, hit the thumbs up to make up for. Thanks, Finboy Slick. Make up for it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, where are we at here? Let me do this. Oh, well, we'll get to that in a second, maybe. Got a little bit of lawfare to talk about for a second here. Just a short little cling. You think that includes those who self-deported? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, they're saying quite a few self-deported. So Trump is working overtime to make Washington, D.C. a more world-class capital ahead of the 250th anniversary. And the demon rat-aligned NGOs are fighting him on every front, from new ballroom, the fountains in Lafayette Park, even basic maintenance at the East Potomac golf course. Yeah, Finn rocks. That's why. That's right. Always knew. That's right. He's awesome. NGO sued to stop Trump from cleaning fences and removing debris at the golf course. A Biden-appointed judge ordered the president to get court permission before replacing dying trees. Other than a nuclear threat, does Iran present a serious threat to the U.S.? It's a threat to the whole world, man. They're a terrorist threat. They support terrorism. They supply terrorists all the time. Look what they're doing right now. You know, if they're going to continue attacking the shipping, they're no better than like a pirate. You know, a rogue nation. They have to be stopped. Oh, I can post links here. Just got my old domain name back. That's right. There you go. So, yeah. So this is crazy. This is just nuts. So they won't let them place the dying trees. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dead trees. This is crazy. Now, D.C. area NGO sued to block Trump from performing basic maintenance. A Biden-appointed judge, Anna C. Reyes, ordered Trump to seek court permission before replacing 10 dead or dying trees. Have I seen Joe's topic for tonight? No. What has he got saying? What's he saying? What's he saying? When's he starting? Alito Blast Jackson, abortion pill ruling. Judge of policy shock. Oh, so you're going to get to see the same stuff I covered. Anyway, when's he starting? What time's he starting? Okay. Well, all right. So that's that. And then there's one other story here. I wanted to talk about this thing. Have you guys seen this? That the DHS chief, Miles Taylor, the guy that was like doing a bunch of stuff, always be like 9:45 before he actually starts. So this guy's had a prank site to collect death threats against Trump, and 4,000 people signed up for it, and all their information got exposed. 2 days ago, he showed how Tyler's GTFO ICE site exposed 17,000 people's data on open API. Taylor's organization, Defiance Org, didn't just build one leaky site, they built two on the same server. Undo Trump launched April 1st, 2026 as an April Fool's joke, collects names, email addresses, political messages from people signing up for fictional removal parties at government buildings. The 4,000 signups, 3,300 unique people, same vulnerability, same APIs, zero authentication. This is just a joke. Always things showing all this stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, these sites. And they're all screwed up. Here's a list of Miles soliciting people to sign up for it.
Yeah, pretty great. And look, I know that video is kind of AI slop, but I think we can kind of excuse it here because of the kind of AI.
Yeah, so these people are stupid. Here's a video of Miles himself soliciting people to sign up and implies he's not saving your data, but he did. I think it's actually I think doing that is a problem. If you say you're not saving data and you are. API means application program interface. Yeah. Geez, that's a lot of dummies. It sure is. Anyway, listen, people, I'm going to send you over to a friend to Third Railify before Joe. Most of you are going to go to Joe anyway, but they're trying to get their watch hours up so that they can get monetized on YouTube. So if maybe you could go over there and just kind of hang out there for a little bit till Joe starts. You know, they're the same kind of channels. This maybe I'll pop on there with them. I'd really appreciate it. Kind of help them out a little bit. So they're called Through Railify. They're good people. I mean, one of them is Canadian, but the other one's from Boston. So they're good people, though. Check them out, Sean and Gina. Tell them I said hi, and you know, I'll see everybody tomorrow, 7 o'clock. It's called Third Railify. Third Railify, Sean and Gina. They're good people. Great little show. So everybody head over there, say hi, and then you know, when Joe starts, just jump over to Joe. All right, we went over 3 hours. We didn't have to go. So I'm going to see everybody tomorrow. Come on back for Jim to tell you the news.